Hello, everyone. Welcome to Veterans Memorial Stadium here in the city of Quincy for the 75th annual Thanksgiving Day football game. My name is Jonathan Clary, down here on the field with Jim Timmons, and Jim, we're in for a fantastic game here today between the Quincy Presidents and North Quincy Red Raiders.
Yeah, that's right, John. We have great conditions for today's Thanksgiving Day game. Field's in great shape. It's actually kind of mild out, low 50s, so looking forward to an exciting game.
All right, we're being joined now by two guests down the field, the principals from Quincy High School and North Quincy High School, Frank Santoro, and Earl Metzler. Frank, we'll start with you. An exciting day here in the city of Quincy for Quincy High School.
It is, John. We can always count on this day as being one of the most exciting for the year, especially for our athletes at both high schools. It's a beautiful day, and we know we both are expecting a great game, and I'm sure both our schools will come through. And I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving on behalf of the Quincy High School family.
Excellent. Thank you. Jim?
Earl, good morning. Welcome. And this is your first Thanksgiving as high school principal. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's not my first Thanksgiving Day game. I've stood on the sideline for many years, but this is the first as a principal, so I'm a little anxious to get started.
Yeah. What did you have to say to Coach Connor before the game? Because as Mr. Metzler indicates, he's been on the sidelines before. He knows a little bit about this rivalry.
Well, we don't want to create any locker room material for Quincy High. This is a live feed, so they might be listening. But we had some special words of encouragement. Most importantly, though, being in Quincy, Thanksgiving Day holiday, a great tradition. We have so much to be thankful for. State-of-the-art facility, what an unbelievable playing surface. So really, the real message was to be thankful for what we have and really appreciate it.
That's great. And speaking of being thankful, why don't you tell our viewers about the ring there that they can pick up with a microphone? Tell them about that story.
Well, this is an interesting story. This is the Super Bowl ring from the 92 team, which would have been the senior class of 1993, and it's actually in a replica from the Notre Dame National Championship ring. And special ring because it also features the initials TG. And Tommy Gilmartin, God rest his soul, was a young boy who lost the battle to cancer. He loved North Quincy football more than anybody, and I know he's looking down on us with a lot of pride, tradition, and excellence, and certainly he's in our thoughts and prayers, as is the Gilmartin family every Thanksgiving.
Great, thanks, Earl. Earl was on the sideline with Kenny McPhee and the rest of the North Quincy staff at Boston University when they won the Super Bowl in 1992. Well, good luck, North Quincy. Frank, good luck to you and the Presidents. I know you're looking to stir up an upset.
Well, I don't know if it's considered an upset or not. You couldn't say that to our guys. Because,
yeah, you're right about that.
That's right. They don't consider themselves underdogs at any count.
That's great. Okay.
All right, well, we want to thank you, Frank and Earl, for coming on the show.
you.
We know you have some responsibilities to take care to, so thank you again for coming on the show, and have a fantastic game, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again. Have a Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Same to you, Earl.
Yeah, Frank.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
All right, well, Jim, as you can see, the principals are very enthusiastic about the game, as well they should be. And we actually had an opportunity to talk to Coach Jim Connor, head coach at North Quincy High School, and he had a few words yesterday. So we're going to go to the interview now and see what Coach Connor from North Quincy had to say. All right, we're here with Coach Jim Connor, head coach at North Quincy High School. And Coach, getting ready here for the final practice before Thanksgiving. Some kids are all pumped up, ready to go.
Yeah, everybody's excited. It's great being around this. The whole city of Quincy in general is pretty fired up about this game, and it's a lot of fun to be around, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
Now, this is going to be your second Thanksgiving as a coach here in the city of Quincy. What can you take from last year's game and learn to go for tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, last year for North Quincy was rough and it's tough to swallow, but we just got to learn from our mistakes and just keep getting better each game that we play, and watch the film from last year and move on. I think we'll be fine.
Now, you certainly had a great season so far. 6-4 is your record. First time to have a winning record in quite a number of years. Talk about that and experience for these kids to come out with a winning record so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, it's just been a tremendous year, and the kids are incredibly excited and happy to be part of this, and it's great for the alumni, and that North Quincy's doing better again. But every time you have some success, and it comes down to this one, and so your success is based on your last game right now. So hopefully that we can get this one at the end, and be a tremendous year. We can look back and talk about the other wins we've had.
Now, talk about some of the senior leadership you've had this year. You've had a lot of great play from your seniors this year, and certainly helped the younger guys on the squad.
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely a senior-led group, and it's just a group of winners. They all just refuse to lose attitude, and it shows in our games. And we had 3 games that we won. Within seconds of the game, we came out on top, and I felt like in the last year we didn't get those, and now we're getting them, and hopefully that's where we turn the corner a little bit, and now we can start keep this winning routine going a little bit more.
Now, one of the other things, you've had some injuries this year in the squad, and but you've fought through them and you've come out quite well in some of the games. Talk about how you fought through that.
Yeah, well, what we did is we had a lot of young kids come in and step right in, and it was a pretty good transition, I thought, because the seniors really did a great job of welcoming in the new guys and getting them prepared, getting them ready, and they did a great job filling in, stepping up, and they definitely played with the older guys in mind, and knew that this is very meaningful for them. So I just got to play my best, and they did a great job stepping up.
Now, this is the 75th annual game between Quincy and North Quincy. Are the kids aware of that and know this is a little bit of a historical game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's the one. My job, I think, is to make sure that they don't get too out of hand, because everyone wants to talk about it, and it almost gets to the point where it's a distraction. You got to bring them down. That it's just a game, it's just a high school football game. But yeah, they know. I don't need to bring up the 75 year. They know all that stuff already. So, but they're excited. We're excited, and it's just an honor to be a part of it.
Now, talk about tomorrow's game, some of the keys of victory from North Quincy.
The keys to victory for us is just playing smart football. Yeah, I remember saying the same thing last year, and it's just don't turn the ball over, just minimal mistakes, and just and play sound football. And I say it to the team all the time, and they tease me for it too, because I always repeat myself. But that's the kind of stuff that wins high school football games. And if you're disciplined, smart, and play sound, I think that the team that does that will win the game.
One final thing, I'm sure the players all know what the winning streak Quincy High School has. I'm sure they want to stop that and start a streak of their own.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I think our kids are been hearing that for a while, and yeah, it'd be nice for us to start our own little streak that we have right now. It'd be a tremendous way to finish off the season.
All right, Coach, good luck tomorrow, and we'll see you in the field.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Well, we want to thank Coach Connor for that interview. And Jim, North Quincy this year has been led by a lot of their seniors, including John Cahill. Unfortunately, John Cahill's out with an injury today.
Yeah, John's not going to be playing, and they really relied on him heavily. He has a fractured collarbone, and that's going to take him out of the game. He's out on the field helping warm up the team right now. Coach Connor talked all week about the senior leadership and the fact that they really helped change the tide here this year at North Quincy High. Very impressed by kids like Dan Jackson, Alex Tregellis, the other guys we're going to be talking about today. And the loss of Cahill is going to be big for North Quincy.
He also talked about a lot of the young players that have stepped up. North Quincy does have a winning record this year, 6-4, their first winning record in quite a number of years. Yeah,
that's correct. They're looking to put a great season on the board with this win today. One of the things Coach Connor did acknowledge is that 6-4 is great, and they're happy for that, but they got to win today's game to make the season a success. All right, we also had an opportunity to interview Coach Bob Noble, the head coach of the Quincy High School Presidents. So we're going to go get an interview right now. Okay, I guess they're not quite ready for it yet in the truck. So Coach Noble was grateful enough to give us an interview. And the Quincy High School Presidents have had a little bit of a down year so far this year, Jim, coming to this game with a record of 2-7.
Yeah, they have, but I liked Frank Santoro's attitude, and I'm sure it's reflective of what the players think. They come in as underdogs today in the minds of the folks in the stands, but on the field here, they don't feel that way. And when you look at the schedule this year and the comparative teams, Quincy matches up well. They lost a couple of games. I'm sure that Coach Noble and the team feel kind of got away from them. But I think they feel very comfortable coming in, that they match up with North Quincy, and could be the Arredondo show today. We're going to have to see how what answer they have for Diego Arredondo.
All right, so a couple more seconds before we get ready to roll. And so again, Coach Bob Noble, head coach of the Quincy High School Presidents. We're going to get ready for that interview right now for Coach Bob Noble. All right, here now with Coach Bob Noble, head coach of the Quincy High School Presidents. And Coach, as always, it's a big game going up against rival North Quincy High School. I assume your team's getting well prepared for the game.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't get any bigger, in terms of athletics here in the city of Quincy, in my opinion, anyways, than Thanksgiving Day rivalry. And obviously, your kids gear up for this and look forward to this all year. And you kind of wish, I say this all the time, and it never seems to change, but you kind of wish they showed that same kind of intensity, throughout the first 9 games that they, when that 9th game is over, they seem to. You can definitely feel the level of intensity go up, and in anticipation for Thanksgiving. So they're ready.
Now, it's a little bit more special. This is the 75th anniversary game, so it's a very big game in that sense too. Are the kids even more excited for that as well?
To be perfectly honest with you, probably no. I don't think that really enters into their mind. I'll be honest with you, they probably even know it's a 75th anniversary game. It's simply Quincy, North Quincy, and that's whether it's the first game or the 75th game. I really don't think that matters to them. It has all the same meaning to them.
Now, what do you think your keys for victory are going to be for the Presidents this year?
Well, there's a number. North has had has had a very good year, and you got to give Coach Connor and his coaching staff and the kids up there a lot of credit. They've turned the program around this year and have had a very successful year, and they've been very successful, really, on both, very opportunistic on both sides of the ball, and we've got to, I guess, one, we've got to be able to control the football offensively to get something going, so we can maintain some sort of rhythm, on offense. And defensively, you stop big plays, you make teams drive the length of the field, and the odds are that they're not going to do so. So, if we can do those two things, we're certainly going to be in the ball game. We're going to be in the ball game anyways. But if those were the keys, I'd say that those, that would be it.
Talk about some of the key players that fans out there watching the game should look for on the President side of the ball. Maybe some of the seniors and captains of the team that have had a great year so far.
Right. Well, in particular, our primary ball carrier, and probably I would rate as our best player, is Diego Arredondo. He's a captain for us. He's our starting running back. He's had a pretty good year for us, rushing for close to 700 yards and 8 touchdowns. And he also handles all of our kicking chores, both the kickoff, punts, point afters. He's our leading scorer. He's far and away our best player, and if we can have him, have a very successful day, then I think it's going to be a successful day for us. So, but he in particular, we've got a sophomore quarterback. He has to have a good day. Manage, using the current coaches speak, but managing the game. If he can do that, Lance Peterson, then again, we're from an offensive point of view, we're going to be in the game. We need our defensive players, and in particular, another one of our captains, Matt Oriole, to have an outstanding day, putting pressure on North Quincy and their offense, and in particular their quarterback. If he can do that, then it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a good game either way. But this is my 24th Thanksgiving Day game, and if there's one thing that I get out of all of this, have learned from all of this, that records and all that really don't have a bearing in this game whatsoever. If you go out and if you play well, the odds are you're going to be successful. Yeah, we've been pretty fortunate over the last, particularly over the last 8 years, that it's been our, it's come out in that way for us. We have that. I guess do we have an advantage going into this game? I suppose history would be it. If you're going purely on wins and losses, the history of the game or the history of recent history is on our side. They have to beat us, in reference to this game. But it's going to. It always is. It's never not. We've been fortunate over the last 8 years, but this is definitely a challenge this year. There's no question about it.
Now, historically, the game has been decided by about a touchdown or less, and I assume your kids know that, and they know it's going to be a tight game played on both sides of the ball, and obviously both schools want to come up with a big victory, so they know they got to keep mistakes down to a minimal.
Right, and that's true of any, and really, if you think about it, that's true of any football game. But obviously, with the importance of the game, mistakes become magnified, or the potential. The potential for making a mistake, the ramifications for that, become magnified because of, what this game means to all the players and everybody that's involved in this game. It's a big deal. There's no question about it. It doesn't really, quite honestly, it almost doesn't. I don't like to have this point of view, but it almost doesn't matter what you do in the first 9 games. It's what you do on Thanksgiving. And quite honestly, and to the kids it's that way. When you go to your, and I say this to the kids all the time. When you go to your 5th year or 10th year reunion or whatever the case may be, it's not the game against Falmouth that you remember. It's Thanksgiving, and what preceded that really doesn't have a bearing to you later on. For me as a coach, wins and losses are important, are a factor, but to them, this is the end-all, be-all of at least for the next week of their lives. So.
Now, you've always talked about that. Usually every Thanksgiving Day game, there's one player that steps up, has a surprise game. It seems to happen every year, and it seems that it's always come down to the intensity. And usually it's a senior. They know this is mostly their last football game, and they want to have a great game and come out with a victory.
Yeah, and to add to that, it's usually not the quote star player that makes that significant play. Last year we had Bob Austin, a first-year senior who did not, had not actually played as a freshman, but you would not have rated him as someone you would know. Probably that makes it, blocks the punt that sets us up for the game-winning touchdown to win the game. Again, quote, not one of the, in theory, not one of the stars. The year before that, we have a young man recover an onside kick that changes it, not necessarily one of the stars of the game that does it. So generally speaking, what you find out is the guy who makes that play for you is not necessarily the guy that everybody's expecting. It's someone, really when it comes out of it, it's someone who's doing their job the way they're supposed to do it. And he makes that, and again, it's that play that makes the difference in the game. It's not necessarily the kid that runs for 100 yards and scores 5 touchdowns. It's the kid that got that person the ball in whatever way. So, this game has an eerie ability to have that happen. That it's the person you least expect turns out to be the one that has the biggest impact on the game.
Now, this being the 75th anniversary, asking, do you have any favorite memory from the years that you've been involved with the game?
I think every one of them. I'm somewhat partial, obviously. When my son played, and he was very fortunate to do well and play well, and as a parent and also as a coach, that has a certain significance to it. My first year as a head coach, we had, that has a great deal of significance. We had lost 20 straight games going into that game, and to have your first win, as a head coach, to be on Thanksgiving, on the biggest stage, has a significance. And I'll be honest with you, we've been, over the last 8 years, every single one of them has had a significance to it. It has been special. Obviously, when you win everyone, I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky. And they all have a significance to it. So I've been, as I said, I'm lucky and I know it. I'm lucky to be in a position where I've been that, we've been that successful. So.
All right, Coach, good luck on Thanksgiving. We'll see you on the field. Oh, welcome back, everyone, here, live here at Veterans Memorial Stadium, being joined now by Sean Brennan, sports reporter from the Quincy Sun. First off, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, John.
This is your second Thanksgiving Day game here in the city of Quincy, and it's certainly a big game here in the city of Quincy. Talk a little about the keys for victory. We'll start off with North Quincy first.
Sure, we'll start off with North Quincy. North Quincy, so far this year is 6-4. Big turnaround from last year. Like you said, though, last year they did start turning the corner under Coach Jim Connor. Keys to victory for North Quincy is probably going to be the same it's been all year. It's their balance on offense and defense. On offense, they've had 11 different players score touchdowns, led by John Cahill, who unfortunately is not going to be playing today. They have Joe Villapando. They have Danny Jackson, quarterback Dennis Martin, wide receiver Alex Tregellis. Boatload of weapons on offense. On defense, the strength this year is Coach Barbudo's balance from the linebackers to the defensive line to the defensive back. They've been holding teams to just about 16 points a game, and I think if they can control the ball on offense, and force Quincy to throw the ball with sophomore quarterback Lance Peterson, they'll be in good shape.
All right, speaking of Quincy High School, having a little bit of a down year right now, record of 2-7. I mentioned Lance Peterson, but one of their big keys is Diego Arendano, their big running back.
Diego Arendando's had a monster year. He just earned honorable mention, Atlantic Coast League All-Star selection. He's got 8 rushing touchdowns, but he does everything. He punts for them. He's maybe one of the best punters in the league. He kicks for them, plays defense. And you know what, John? They may be 2-7, but on Thanksgiving, 8 games in a row, you got to throw the records out the window. You really do.
Yeah, you certainly do. And we've seen many times here in the city of Quincy where the quote-unquote underdog seems to come up and spoil Thanksgiving for the other team.
Yeah, I mean, we did a story for the Sun on the 75th anniversary, and all the old-timers we talked to said the same thing. You got to, come Thanksgiving, anything can happen. I mean, you could be the favorite and lose by 2 touchdowns. Be the underdog and come back and win. So really makes no difference on Thanksgiving in Quincy, that's for sure.
All right, and prediction for today possibly?
I'm going to go with North Quincy. I just think they have more balance on offense, like I said. I think they're going to be able to control the clock and the ball. 27-13.
All right, well, there's a prediction from Sean Brennan, sports reporter from the Quincy Sun. Sean, we want to thank you for coming on here, QATV pregame show, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too, John. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you. All right.
All right, well, now we're going to go to a roll-in of some highlights from Quincy High School during the season.
The region last year, well, now they've got to replace him.
Gilboy's going to keep it, running up the side, going down to the right, keep on going, crosses the 50, flag thrown on the play. Gilboy will keep it again, now running to his left, picks up the first down and more, crosses the 50, gets it right back, sidesteps his own player, and will get up to the 45-yard line.
Going to give it on down to up the middle, big hole for him, breaks free, and it's going to get up to the 50, across the 50 now into the 48. Big run to start the second half for Diego Arendano.
Quincy High School.
Let's see more back to pass, being pressured, and is sacked.
There you go, Arendano get in there.
And now for the Bulldogs, ball at the 27-yard line. And they're going to hand it off, and nice pursuit by the Presidents, and this time they cannot get free. Gilboy now under center. Hands it off to DeVoe. DeVoe trying to get in, and he dives in for the end zone. Touchdown, Presidents. Second down and 6 to go for the Presidents. Hand it off once again to Arendano. He cuts up, he has the first down and more, and he's going to go across the 50-yard line. Ball at the Canton 49. Gilboy back to pass, looking downfield, has a man open, and it is incomplete, a fantastic catch. Number 88, Anthony Raditz on the catch.
Gilboy does a nice job of letting his receiver get downfield, then he lays it up there. Now watch Raditz go up and get this. What a great individual effort.
4 receivers going to hand after Arendano on the delay. Nice run by Arendano, crosses the 40, and gets up to the 30.
Whitman Hanson looks like they're going to come after Peterson here.
Peterson gets it out to Arendano. Arendano picks up the first down and more. Stays in bounds, gets across to the 31-yard line. Peterson back to pass, looking downfield, has a man open downfield, and it is caught by 24, Joe Reginini. Nice catch, and the Presidents get that all back and more.
Swiped with the arm and made the tackle, so 4th and long here.
Yeah, 4th and 12, Peterson back to pass, being pursued, gets a block from Arendano, fires downfield, and it is caught by Saban, and they got to pick up the first down.
Peterson does a great job. The pocket breaks down a bit. He's got his head up the whole time. He unloads, and a nice job of focus there along the sideline by Saban. Not much of a gain on that. It's 2nd and 15.
Peterson back to pass, man open downfield, and it is caught. Number 40 on the pass, Sean Gray. Big pass. Again, Arendano takes the pitch over to the left side, crosses the 5, and in for the touchdown, Diego Arendano.
Wow.
Now Gilboy is going to go in motion. They're going to pitch it to Gilboy, and it's halfback pass, looking to Raditz, and it's complete. Raditz stays on his feet, across the 50 to the 40, and he's brought down. Quincy comes right out of the back, Jim, fires downfield. Also completed a 3rd and long to Saban as well. This time they go Arendano wide open. He cuts 3, over to the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, and did he get in? No, he gets out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Call it the 2. Diego Arendano, a huge play up the middle and across the sideline. Peterson back to pass, looking for Raditz downfield. Raditz has some space and makes the catch and goes in for the touchdown. Great job there by Lance Peterson to find Anthony Raditz, and Raditz made a spectacular catch on that play. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the QATV Thanksgiving pregame show. My name is Jonathan Callier, being joined by Jim Timmons. And Jim, quick weather report. It's kind of foggy, but nice conditions for the football game.
I think it's foggy in the truck, but outside here, the fog is kind of burned off a bit. The weather conditions are really favorable. It's mid-50s, warming up. There's no breeze at all. It's going to be a great day. Weather will not be a factor. For the players in the game, may remain a factor in the truck. We'll see.
One thing we should also talk about is the new field turf, so the field will not be a factor as well. If it gets wet, don't have to worry about any mud this year.
Yeah, you're right. The conditions are unbelievable. We were watching the boys warm up. They're making their cuts really crisply, and the field is just not a factor whatsoever, which is interesting because it did rain all night, and we had a game here, 2 weeks ago, where it rained quite a lot.
Certainly.
Normally the field would be really damaged.
All right, we're getting ready for the pregame festivities down here in the field. We do have one more roll in the North Quincy High School football highlights from the season, so we'll go to that right now.
Looking for Marcellus Lee, and I don't know if he caught that. If he did, it's unbelievable catch.
What an individual effort by Lee!
Behind quarterback Dennis Martin. Jackson in motion. They're going to give it to Jackson. Finds a hole, breaks free, cuts back outside, has some opening room, crosses the 40, crossing now the 50 to the 45-40, and brought down from behind at the 35-yard line. Great run by Danny Jackson. Martin pump fakes, looking downfield, looking for, and it's caught by Watkins. Great catch by Pat Watkins.
Keep a fresh ball for Dennis Martin, classmate, teammate.
And up to Cahill to the right side, crosses the 50 to the 45-40. Brought down now at the 30-yard line. Nice run by John Cahill. And up to Cahill. Cahill over to the right side, has some room. Gets first down and more across to the 30-yard line. And up to the 25 and now to the 22. Great run by John Cahill. Clock continues to tick, Jim. Martin back to pass. Throws it downfield for Marcellus Lee. He catches it, stays on his feet, and it's a touchdown, Marcellus Lee.
What a play!
And like I said, nice job by Scamille to not retaliate there.
Yeah, tremendous discipline by him. Little flea flicker.
Oh, big hit there. Intercepted by Marcellus Lee.
All right, that's great stuff. Watkins again.
Martin back to pass, looking downfield. Throws Valpondo's open. He catches it, and he stays on his feet, Jim. Just continues on his feet.
What an effort by Valpondo.
Nice run by Joe Valpondo. He broke off 3 tacklers and goes all the way up
to the locker room quietly. This should be the final play.
Give it to Cahill running up. He has the first down and more. Cuts back over to the right now. Has some space. Continues down to the 15 and knocked out of bounds. But with no time on the clock.
Watkins out in the slot.
And they got Watkins, and they're looking for him over the middle. Marcellus Lee, big catch.
Oh, in traffic.
Fires over, wide receiver screen. North Quincy reads it perfectly, though. And a big play by Dave Thompson to come up on the stop. Big loss.
RJ a little fired up after that last first down.
Back to passes Mansfield, looking back for Hill, and intercepted by Dave Thompson. A great play by Dave Thompson. He recovered quickly and gets the INT. Conrad in the shotgun. Being pursued, gets it downfield, is a man, and intercepted! Dennis Martin with the interception. He's going to run downfield and get knocked out of bounds, and that should seal the ball game. Martin back to pass, looking downfield, looking for Thompson. He gets open, and it's caught. Caught at the 22-yard line, breaking free, 10, 5, and touchdown! Dave Thompson, a great touchdown run, and North Quincy gets on the board. Gave it to Valpondo, trying to get outside. Breaks one tackler, breaks another tackler, and a big hit still on his feet. He's going to go in into the end zone. Touchdown, Joe Valpondo.
Wow, what a great effort by Valpondo. He was not going to be denied there. Raiders have the ball on the 45. Let's see what they can do.
Martin goes back to pass, looking way downfield, and it is almost as it's caught by Alex Regelis.
Defensive back and safety for Plymouth South both go for the interception. Ball pops up. Tregellis is right there. Johnny on the spot.
Good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and it is good.
Deegan kicks it through, and the Red Raiders take the lead with 6 seconds to go.
Under 2 minutes to go. Fires over the middle, and it is caught by Jackson. Jackson has some speed, crosses the 40, to the 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! Touchdown, Red Raiders!
What a play! Dennis Martin over
the middle to Jackson. And what an individual effort by Jackson. Holy grape, John. This is really something tonight. We have seen some great football plays by a couple of seniors.
Well, welcome back, everyone, here to Veterans Memorial Stadium. We're getting ready for kickoff, and there are some pregame festivities that are about to happen. And Jim, very quickly, once again, it's going to be a fantastic game here in the city of Quincy on Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah, we're getting ready for the, as you said, the pregame ceremonies. They're going to march in the Quincy High School Air Force ROTC, and we're going to have the, we'll have, let me see, down on the field, we've got a couple of other things going on first, but we'll begin. I think they're going to cut to it now. The school bands are down there. We're going to have the national anthem and get started.
All right, well, Jim, you and I are going to take one more quick break, and we'll be back with kickoff here at Veterans Memorial Stadium for the 75th annual Thanksgiving Day football game. Quincy has been treated to many outstanding and thrilling athletic events. Many of these classic battles have taken place on the gridiron of Veterans Memorial Stadium on Thanksgiving Day, when Quincy and North Quincy High Schools battle for city bragging rights. The Presidents hold the edge in this annual matchup, but enter this year's game as the underdogs. Quincy has recorded 8 straight victories over their crosstown rivals, a series record they'd like to extend. The Red Raiders enter today's game with a winning record for the first time in years. North Quincy would like to turn the table on the Presidents and start a Thanksgiving Day winning streak of their own. The 75th annual matchup between the North Quincy Red Raiders and the Quincy Presidents is next on QA-TV. Fires over the middle, and it is caught by Jackson. Jackson has some speed. Crosses the 40, to the 30, 20, 15, 10-5, touchdown! Pearson back to pass, looking for Raditz downfield. Raditz has some space and makes the catch and goes in for the touchdown. Great job there. Well, Jim, that was the Quincy High School and North Quincy High School combined marching band performing our national anthem. And they've been out here every football game here at the stadium through the hot, the cold, and the rainy this year as well.
Yeah, and they did a great job on the national anthem. As we mentioned, the Quincy High Air Force ROTC with the flags on the field. They're now leaving the field to be followed by the school bands that are now performing their respective school songs. Another one of the nice traditions here. All different sectors of the school community get to shine, not just the football team, John.
All right, well, as we mentioned during the pregame show, Quincy High School has won 8 straight Thanksgiving football games, 12 of the last 13. The series record, Quincy 41 wins, North Quincy 28 wins, and there have been 5 ties in the series.
Yeah, you know, John, I'd love to, if Grace Busher could get a pan of Southern Artery over by the east gate. There's a line that extends down past the soccer field for people trying to get in. And from our view here, we can see that cars are parked along Marymount Parkway all the way down to Furnacewood Parkway. It's just really a crowded scene out here today, which is terrific for both schools. The stadium is filling up. That north end zone area, which is traditionally a standing room spot, is well crowded and has been for a while. So a lot of folks turning out for what should be an exciting game.
North Quincy, as we mentioned during the show, comes in with a record of 6-4, 5-3 in the league. Quincy High School 2-7, 2-6 in the league. They are in the Atlantic Coast League, and we've talked about it during the season. This is going to be their last year in the ACL, moving to the Patriot League beginning next year.
Yeah, which should be a good move. They'll be playing schools that are closer to their own size, which is helpful, but it's a tough league as well, so there's going to be some acclimation for those squads. But irrespective of that, the records go out the window today. As we said on the field before the game, Coach Connor pointed out, and rightly so, that while the season has been successful to date, the real mark of success will be what goes on the field today. Both teams, Quincy can turn around what's been a down season for them by winning today, and North can cap off a great season by winning today, so both teams have a lot at stake.
As we mentioned several times today as well, that this is the 75th game, one of the longest rivalries here in the state of Massachusetts and eastern Massachusetts, and certainly one of the best rivalries, Jim, when you go around to all the Thanksgiving Day games.
Yeah, that's true. The boys grow up together playing against each other, so it's a very spirited rivalry, and the stands are packed with people who, I was talking to one father last night. He's a North Quincy High grad. His daughters have gone to North. His son is at Quincy High. He married a Quincy High grad, so there are some split allegiances in that family, and there's a lot of that in the city as well. As the captains come out, just want to mention that Dave Thompson, who's one of the senior leaders for North Quincy High, he's coming out to the center of the field. He's wearing number 8 today in honor of his brother Dennis. That was Dennis's number when he played at North. You see David over on the right. He'll be number 8. We're going to get onto the field to the officials' mic for the introduction of the captains and the coin toss.
Arredondo, good to meet you. Guys, why don't you introduce yourselves?
Number 25, Diego Arredondo. Number 50, Matt Oriole. And number 54, Zach Olson.
All right, guys, congratulations on being captain of your team. We're going to have a great football game today. Mr. Thompson, you're the visiting team. That's a head, that's a tail. Call it in the air, please.
Tails.
Tails, tails he calls. And it is a tail. Your option, you want to defer?
Yes, please.
Kick, receive, or defend a goal?
Receive, please.
You want to receive. Which goal do you want to defend? Put your backs that way. Over here. North Quincy has won the toss, elected to defer to the second half. Quincy will be receiving at the south goal. Shake hands, guys. Let's have a fantastic game tonight. Work hard. Good
the
job.
captains for both teams, Danny Jackson, number 3, Alex Tregellis, number 4, Dave Thompson, number 8, and number 50, Sekou Benjamin, number 50. For Quincy High School, number 24, Joe Reginini, number 25, Diego Arredondo, number 50, Matt Oriole, and number 54, Zach Olson. Also, Jim, while we have a minute, we want to mention the officials who will be down the field today for the game. Our referee will be John Magnarelli. Our umpire will be Lou Pearlstein. Our field judge will be Bob Tate. Linesman Arthur Capozzo. Back judge John Hall. And the clock operator will be Chris Kunn.
John Magnarelli, interestingly, was the official on the field at BU when North Quincy beat Arlington in that Super Bowl we were talking about with Earl Metzler. So he's got a little history here with the football programs of the high schools. He does a lot of the games here at Veterans Stadium as well. Very experienced, knows the dynamics of this particular game. North won the toss and interestingly opted to defer, showing a little confidence in their defense. Coach Connor looking to play the field position game early, John.
Also, we want to mention our QA TV weather report brought to you by the Truck Gym. All those guys working down hard there. Our temperature at kickoff will be 48 degrees. Our forecast is cloudy here today and winds 2 miles per hour from the east-northeast. So as we said, a fantastic day for football here on Thanksgiving morning.
Yeah, that means the wind report means basically that any breeze at all is going to be coming from the right of the screen to the left, and it's going to be blowing toward the Quincy sideline. So it's not really a factor at all. Down to kick for Quincy, you've got senior Mike Mann, Squib Man down there, kicking off for the Red Raiders, and we're going to be underway here, John.
All right, and the 75th game is underway here in the city of Quincy. It's going to bounce down to Quincy High School, and picking up there is Dan Sabin. He cuts over to the left, and fumble ball is loose, and North Quincy's going to recover, Jim.
Well,
actually,
went over the ball. Let's see who got on it.
North Quincy did jump on it, then I did see it come up loose. North Quincy recovers. So a fumble on the opening kickoff, and Coach Noble is out there to disagree. He believes it was down.
Hold on a second.
Oh, and now we have an overturn.
Yep.
Let's take a look real quick at that replay, Jim. One official called for North, and the other overruled him for Quincy High School. Here's the kickoff.
You see the back with the ball inside. It gets stripped. Couple of bodies on it. Thompson among the first, but it looks like what happened was he went right over the ball. Ended up being covered by Quincy, so they catch the first break. And President offense out on the field, John.
All right, so as you said, Jim, a big break there for the Quincy High School Presidents on the kickoff return, on the opening kickoff return of the game. Quincy's able to retain possession and will take over on their own 34-yard line with quarterback Lance Peterson under center. Start off in an I formation. They're going to give it to Diego Arredondo over the left tackle. A nice run at first down. He's going to get up to the 43.
Yeah, no secret here. As we talked in the pregame, Red Raiders have got to find a way to stop Arredondo. North has been in a 5-2 defense all year, meaning they've had 5 linemen, 2 linebackers, and 4 defensive backs. Well, they're going to be focusing on Arredondo. If the Red Raiders can stop him, they'll have success. If not, it's going to be a long night for the Red Raiders, a long day for the Red Raiders. And there's Arredondo again.
Yeah, he's fighting his way to the left side, and he picks up the first down and more. He crosses the 50 and will get over to the North Quincy High School 44-yard line. Another big gain for Diego Arredondo.
Yeah, that's 2 carries, first down for the Red Raiders. That was a pickup of 13 on that one.
So right off the bat, 22 yards for Diego Arredondo on 2 carries. So first down and 10 for the Presidents at the North Quincy High School 44. Going to hand off to Brian McGee. Actually, that's number 31, Tim Lewis on the carry. And he's going to pick up 2 on that play to get up to the North Quincy High School 42.
Yeah, President's going with the power I formation. They're just going to blast away at the Red Raiders and see what they can do here in this opening drive. That time they gave it to the up back, and he picked up a couple of yards. That's just keeping Red Raider defense honest, affecting their ability to focus on Arredondo.
Second down and 8 for the Presidents. Just underway here in the first quarter. Saban goes in motion now into the slot. Now Reginini's going to go in motion. They pitch it to him, running over to the right. Cuts back up the middle, and he's brought down at the 40-yard line. Gain of 2 for the Presidents. Brought down there by number 55 for North Quincy, R.J. Barden.
Yeah, Barden on the tackle, and also in on the stop, Captain Sekou Benjamin. Benjamin, a key player for the Red Raiders, and he's been out injured. He missed a couple of games for them, but he's back today. The loss of Cahill is going to hurt the Red Raiders big time, John, particularly on offense.
So it's third down and 6 to go for the Presidents at the North Quincy 40-yard line.
Arredondo, the lone back.
They give it to Arredondo. He's met right at the line there by Barden. That's Sekou Benjamin who met him at the line, and maybe a gain of 1 on the play.
Looks like Quincy's going to consider this. No, actually, I think they're bringing their punter out. They are. Originally, it looked like they were going to go for it. Although what they may be doing, Mark Gilbody has also played quarterback. And nope, they're punting. Okay, we'll end the guesswork. Arredondo also punts.
So the ball is at the North Quincy 39. Diego Arredondo is deep back to punt for the Presidents. And ball goes off the side of his foot, and it's going to go out of bounds. Very short kick, and it'll go out at the 27-yard line.
Yeah, short kick, a little bit of a shank, so the Quincy opening drive stalls out. Red Raiders end up with decent field position, which is what they hoped for when they deferred. They're going to start at their 27-yard line, and senior Dennis Martin brings the offense out, John.
Sun is breaking through even a little bit more now here at Jim, so again, great day. North Quincy again will be starting at their own 27-yard line. Come up with 2 receivers. Dennis Martin, the quarterback, to send Jackson in motion, and Jackson fumbles it, and it looks like he did jump on it. Actually, Quincy thinks they have it. We'll see what the call is. And it's going to be second down. Ball is down at the 20-yard line. So loss of 7 there for North Quincy.
Yeah, one of the things Coach Connor preached, and there's a lot of wisdom to it, he doesn't want the boys getting too jacked up before this game. He says the key to this game is not your excitement level or your adrenaline level. It's playing disciplined and under control. Wants to avoid turnovers. That time, Danny Jackson got the ball and was trying to get outside. We all know about Danny's speed. Fumbled the ball. Looks like he got it covered and was on the ground. He got hit by a couple of presidents while down, but that's why they called it Red Raider ball.
All right, they're going to pitch it now over to number 5, and that's Pat Watkins. And he's going to get a gain of 1 on the play, brought down there by number 33, Zach Manning, for the Presidents.
Yeah, this is where the loss of Cahill hurts. You can see on the first 2 plays, Red Raiders trying to get outside on both occasions because Cahill is their guy who can go up inside the tackles. So testing the President defense on the outside, and the Presidents have been up to the task here. It's going to be third down, about 15 on this opening drive for the Red Raiders. Got 3 receivers to the left.
About 6 minutes and 15 seconds left to go in the first. Martin's going to roll out, look to pass, and he's going to get sacked down there by number 66, Devin Gillen, the senior.
Great job by Gillen, super penetration, and the President defense with a super performance on this first North Quincy offensive possession. Red Raiders started on the 27, they finish on their 17, and Martin is going to be back to punt just inside the 5. Going to be important for the Red Raiders to execute on special teams here, which I should add they've done all season long. So,
all right, timeout's called down the field by North Quincy. Looks like they did not have enough men on the field, so Coach Jim Connor was forced to call a timeout to get 11th man on the field.
yeah, one of the linemen on special teams was late getting out there, so they got him out there. It's good they did. He's the guard, so that would have left a gaping hole.
So you said 4th down, 19 to go. North Quincy stalled on their first drive. Martin gets a nice kick off. Anthony Raddatz underneath, he calls a fair catch. Stumbles but makes a catch at the North Quincy High School 45-yard line.
Yeah, great job by Raddatz. Raddatz, a junior who's been a real key this year. Also back with Zach Manning. But Raddatz is the guy, when the Presidents do go to the air, that they look for. As I said, he's only a junior, but he has been a guy who's really performed 5'10", 160, but he plays a lot bigger than that. And he did a nice job in traffic. You saw number 8 for the Red Raiders, Dave Thompson, right down there on the coverage. So great punt by Martin. Good coverage, but great field position for the Presidents here, starting at the Red Raider 47.
They give it to Arendano, cuts over to the left side, and another big gain for Diego Arendano, getting up to the 40-yard line. So a gain of 6 on the play.
Yeah, that time on the tackle, at least tripping up, was Christian Arredondo. He got in there from the left side and tripped up Diego. So going to be second and about 5 for the Presidents. Clock running down to 5 minutes in a first quarter that's been a little sloppy, a little up and down here, John.
Second down and 4 for the Presidents. Again, give it to Diego Arendano over to the left side. Flag thrown on the play.
Yeah, the point where that flag was flown, we may be looking for a hold or a block in the back. It is a hold. Red Raiders will take this one due to the field position, I'm sure, John.
Yeah, this is going to be a 10-yard penalty. He's talking to the captain, and we're down to the field for the call.
We have holding, number 55 on the offense, repeat second down. 10 from the previous.
That was Paul Carson, the senior lineman, who got called for that one. Arredondo hits the hole awfully fast, John. And one of the other things when we talk quickness or speed, the Red Raider defensive line has some really talented athletes. Marcellus Lee, the left defensive end, Tim Stilley, the right defensive end, and R.J. Barden over the ball are all exceptionally quick athletes.
All right, Peterson in the shotgun, fakes the throw, gives it to Diego Arredondo, hold up the middle, cuts over to the left now, crosses the 35, and falls down at the 30-yard line. Big run by Arredondo to get the first down.
Yeah, nice little delay call there by the Presidents. Great execution there. As I was talking about the quickness, there was good penetration by the Red Raider line, but they ran right past Arredondo on that delay handoff. Great call by the Presidents. Pick up a big first down. They're on the Red Raider 32.
18-yard run there by Arredondo, and he's having a good game so far, Jim, running the ball for the Presidents.
Yeah, Lance Peterson, we got to talk about him a little more. He's only a sophomore. This is his first Thanksgiving game. He's doing a nice job early on, John.
First down and 10, ball at the 32-yard line. Again, Arredondo running over to the left side, and he'll pick up a nice gain on first down, getting up to, see, they spot the ball at the 28-yard line for North Quincy High School, excuse me.
Yeah, that time Benoit on the tackle. Joe Benoit, a 5'11", 205-pound lineman for the Red Raiders who goes both ways. He was in on that tackle, made the stop. Red Raider defense has been bend but not break all season, John. That's what we saw in the first President possession. They've got to tighten up here.
Lewis goes in motion. Now is the wide out to the right of quarterback Lance Peterson. Sean Gray goes in motion and gives it to Arredondo again. Cuts up the middle, and he's going to get stopped at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that time Jesse Scamille, who's a lineman over on the left side for the Red Raiders, got great penetration, collapsed the right side of the President line a bit, and that allowed the linebackers to make the tackle there. So good job by Scamille of getting in, getting down, and making some room for the linebackers to make a play. Big third down play here for the Presidents, John.
Third down and 3, ball at the North Quincy 25-yard line. Lewis goes in motion. Pitch it over to Arredondo, trying to get outside to the left, and he is met there by several defenders. Making the initial contact, though, for North Quincy was number 47, Christian Arredondo.
Yeah, Arredondo was there. Also out there to finish the tackle was Tim Stilley, and number 4, Captain Alex Dragelis. So good job of pursuit by the Red Raiders. We're in 4-down territory here, though, no question. Coach Noble leaves the offense out there. 3rd and 3. Red Raider 25-yard line.
4th down and 3, actually.
I beg your pardon. 4th and 3.
Yeah, no gain on that last play. So 4th and 3. Peterson back to pass, rolling out to his right, looking downfield, evades one tackle, trying to go run for it, and he is brought down there with no gain, tackled by Pat Watkins.
Yeah, great job. That's R.J. Barden getting up slowly there. Looks like he may have extended himself a bit on that tackle, but Red Raider defense all year has done a great job of not letting guys get outside on them. That time, as Peterson rolled to his right, he was contained well by Watkins, as you said, John, and then Barden came in and made the tackle. So the bend, not break defense of the Red Raiders does the job again. They hold the Presidents, turn the ball over on downs, and here comes the Red Raider offense with their second possession.
And Quincy jumps off sides, and we'll have flags thrown, showing blitz to try and time that snap count by Dennis Martin. The contact was made on the line.
Yeah, that time the handoff went to Joe Velpondo. We're seeing him for the first time here. Velpondo's the guy that they're hoping steps in for Cahill.
Offsides on the defense. Still first down.
As I was saying, they're hoping that Velpondo can step in for Cahill and do some of that inside running. Velpondo's a powerful running back, strong guy, and he's fast. He's got some of the speed that Danny Jackson has, but he brings a component that allows him to run up inside.
So first down and 5 for the Raiders, handed off up the middle, and short gain there by Joe Velpondo up to the North Quincy 31.
That'll bring up 2nd and 4 for the Raiders.
2nd and 4, that's where the penalty hurts here. President defense doing a nice job, but Red Raiders have 3 downs to pick up 5 yards, so both teams looking like they get that pregame nervousness out of their system, John, which is a good thing.
So as you said, 2nd down and 4 from the 31. 2 receivers, send Watkins in motion, they give it to him. Running over to the right side and brought down there. Nice open field tackle by Joe Reginini.
Yeah, great job by Reginini. If Watkins had turned that corner, that could have been a big gainer. Instead, he's held to a gain of about 2. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 1. Watkins a little tentative there, I will say. And that's understandable early on in the game. But the Red Raiders coming in as the pregame favorite, John. They've got the offense, that is, the Red Raider offense, has to take the play to the Presidents. I'll tell you, the boys in the blue shirts are really determined, John. They're playing very aggressively and really going at the Red Raiders. Early on, they've had the aggression edge.
So 3rd down and 1. Give it to Valpondo, and he is met right at the 1st down marker. We'll see what kind of spot the Red Raiders get. But a great job there by the Presidents to stand up Joe Valpondo.
Yeah, super job by the Presidents. They stopped them well short, and a decision here for Coach Connor is an easy one. He's getting the punting unit out because they're only at the 33. That's a little disappointing for the Red Raider offense. They had an opportunity to start to get something going when they had a 1st and 5, but never got on track there. And as I said, John, although the Red Raiders come in as the favorite, Presidents in this first quarter have definitely been the aggressors and have really carried the play.
And speaking of the first quarter, time expires just before the Red Raiders get the punt off. So at the end of the first quarter, we are scoreless on the 75th annual Thanksgiving Day football game here at Veterans Memorial Stadium.
Coach Reardon out there, you see him in the huddle. Actually, we're watching Dennis Martin walk to the sidelines. There you see the white shirt, Coach Reardon, who's a guy who really fires up his defensive squad. They've been playing very well here, and they've successfully stopped the Red Raiders twice now on downs. President offense and the Red Raider defense has been a little different story. The Presidents have shown the ability to move the ball, with the Red Raider defense coming up with big stops when they've had to. So it was kind of an up and down first quarter, John, but we'll look for a little more even play here now that the boys seem to have settled in. Red Raiders are going to be defending the south goal now. They'll have the sun at their back. This could change things a little bit for the Presidents now. The receivers are going to be looking back away from the sun. We may look for Lance Peterson to throw the ball a little more in this second quarter, John.
All right, Dennis Martin will be back to punt for the Red Raiders. Back to receive for the Presidents are Anthony Raditz and Dan Sabin, both stationed at their own 30-yard line.
Both with the sun in their eyes, too. We should note that. If Martin gets a high punt, it could be a factor, and he does.
All right, good kick there. Fielded by Raditz at the 45-yard line, and was going to try to run it back, but is met immediately by the Red Raiders, and will get up to the 46, and that's where the Presidents will take over.
This has been a strength of the Red Raiders all year, their special teams. They had 5 guys on that ball as soon as it was received by Raditz. So Martin has punted consistently well all year, and the coverage has got down the field well also. So good job by the Red Raiders. Great field position again for the Presidents. We'll see if they can take advantage, John. And as we said, we may look a little more for the air game here, given the fact that the receivers are not looking back into the sun.
All right, so the Presidents take over on their own 46-yard line. Arredondo is the lone man in the backfield. Send Gilbody in motion. And flag thrown on the play.
Flag on the play.
Must be a procedure call. One of the linemen might have left early. One thing to note for our viewers, if you look when we get back to the Grace Busher shot, which is the shot from the 50-yard line, you're going to see that
We have a dead ball foul. False start, number 40 on the offense. Still first down.
You're going to see as we pan away here that the shadows of the players are almost directly perpendicular to the yard markers. And what that means is that the sun is right behind the goalpost in the south end zone. And so it's directly in the eyes of the Quincy quarterback. There's a great shot from one end zone, and you get a sense of what the sun is like. But the sun is directly in the eyes of Lance Peterson. When the receivers look back to him, they'll have a little clearer view. But it's going to be a factor for the Quincy quarterback during this second quarter.
All right, quarterback Lance Peterson, for the Presidents, had to call a timeout, looked up at the North defense and saw something he did not like, so he had to call a timeout. While we do have this quick timeout, we want to remind all of our viewers, log on to QATV's website at www.qatv.org for our program schedule and the replay information for the 75th annual Thanksgiving football game. So first down and 15 for the Presidents at their own 41. Peterson back to pass, and it is complete to Gilbody, and he's going to get back to the 46, the original line of scrimmage.
Yeah, nice coverage by the Red Raiders out there, Watkins, because I'll tell you what, if Gilbody gets any green ahead of him, he's gone. Mark Gilbody, a similar athlete to Danny Jackson, and that he can really accelerate and really get going. So nice job of coverage by Watkins out there. And that brings up a 2nd and 9 for the Presidents.
Spot the ball at the 47, actually. So nice gain there for Quincy, 7-yard gain. Gilbody again in motion, give it to Arredondo to the left side, and he's going to get up to the 50-yard line, so 3 more yards for Diego Arredondo.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about the President's offensive line. We don't talk enough about these boys, but Paul Carson, the center, number 55, a 5'9", 220-pound senior. Over on the right side, you have Mike Andrews, number 58, a senior guard. He's 5'11", 225. And outside at the tackle on the right side is Devin Gillen, number 66, 5'9", 190. We'll get the left side of the line after this play.
3rd and 7. Peterson back to pass, over to his left, complete to Raditz. Stays on his feet, gets the first down, crosses the 40. Over now to the 35, and will get knocked out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Great run and reception by Anthony Raditz.
Yeah, nice reception. He was right at the yard marker when he caught the ball, but he broke 2 tackles and ripped off a big gainer. So nice job by Raditz. As we said, he's only a junior, but when the Presidents go to the air, he's been the man, and he has performed very well for the Presidents. They're a big gainer, and the Presidents are knocking on the door again at the Red Raider 33.
So 1st and 10 for the Presidents. As you said, Jim, at the 33-yard line. 3 receivers set for the Presidents. Give it to Arredondo, and he is met right at the line of scrimmage. No gain there. Breaking in quickly there, looked like number 76, Jesse Scomille.
Yeah, we're over on the, interestingly, this will be a nice segue for us. Arredondo tried the left side, and he was running behind Zach Olson, number 54, senior captain. Zach is 5'9", 205. He's got one of the #1 fans in Quincy there. We recall the game 2 weeks ago where his sister, I believe, was down on the sideline. And then the left tackle is senior Dan Walsh, 6 foot, 200-pound tackle. Solid guy out there for the Presidents.
Arredondo once again over to the left side and will get up to the 30-yard line. So 3 more yards to Diego Arredondo, and that'll bring up now a 3rd down and 7 for the Presidents.
Nice job by Scamille of making that tackle. He held on and brought him down. Arredondo's conditioning is going to be a factor here today, John. He goes both ways, and they're working him hard offensively. So that's going to be interesting later in the game to see how Diego holds up. 3rd down and 7. This is where the Red Raider defense traditionally has stood up and made the stop. See if the Presidents can't do something here.
High formation for the Presidents, and Diego Arredondo picks up the first down, but a flag is thrown on the play, and this one looks like it might be coming back.
Yeah, nice move by Arredondo. He got low and went right under a couple of tackles, but as you said, given where the flag landed, we believe it's going to come back. Here comes the call.
We have holding, number 77. Repeat 3rd down.
They caught Dan Walsh on that one. One of the issues here, John, in fairness to these linemen, is Arredondo really accelerates. And what he's doing is he's running past his blockers, and they're putting forth the effort of still trying to make a play there. This is the 2nd holding call where it's been a case of Arredondo running past his blockers. So the guys have to recognize that fact. And once Arredondo's gone, they've got to let up a bit. So big penalty there. It brings the Presidents back outside the 35. Going to be 3rd down and 14.
4 penalties for 30 yards so far, Jim, for the Presidents here in the first half. So she said 3rd and 14. Peterson throws over, connects to Saban, gets across the 35, and we'll get back up to the 33-yard line.
a super tackle by Sekou Benjamin. Benjamin held his block, fought it off, and he made that tackle by himself. That was a great play by Benjamin, showing tremendous determination and athleticism there.
So it'll be 4th down now for the Presidents, 4th down and 10. And it looks like they're going to be going for it at the North Quincy High 33-yard line.
Yeah, inside the 35, they really have to do it. It's an easy decision here. Power I formation, that's interesting with the 10 yards to go. Let's see what they do, John.
Raditz is wide left, Saban wide right. Peason fakes the handoff, looking to pass. Looks for Raditz downfield, and it connects. Crosses the 10, 5, touchdown Presidents.
Oh, wow. Interestingly designed play. They had a slot man go out and curl up just at about the 13-yard line. It looked like the pass was heading to him, but it went over his head to Raditz, who took it in. If you watch the replay here, you're going to see 2 Presidents in the area of the ball. Red Raiders covered the short man, and the ball went to the long guy. There it is. And into the end zone, untouched, is Raditz. And the Presidents, with the early score here, take the 6-0 lead.
33-yard touchdown pass on 4th down nonetheless. And a flag is thrown on the play as the Presidents are coming out. And it looks like it's going to be against North Quincy, down to the field for the call.
We have illegal substitution on the defense, half the distance to the goal.
Let's see if that changes the approach of the Presidents. They've got Arredondo out there with his kicking tee. I don't know if they might consider early on going for 2. Every point here is going to be significant. No, Coach Noble says just go ahead and kick it.
All right, so instead of from the 3-yard line for the extra point, they go to the 1.5. Raditz to hold, Arredondo to kick. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and it is no good. Wide right.
Yeah, he let that one slip away to the right, so a missed opportunity in the point after, but that doesn't detract at all from the fact that the Presidents, and you see Coach, well, you don't see him on that view, but Coach Reardon out there to greet the offense coming off the field, saying, good job, boys, and it would sure, there you see him right there. It certainly was. Great job by the Presidents on that drive of hanging tough. We had said, John, that the Red Raider defense all year has been bend, not break. Well, that time gave up the big play to Raditz, and the Presidents with the early 6-0 lead. And we should say, Lance Peterson, only a sophomore, delivering a beautiful touchdown ball to Raditz. That was a well-thrown ball.
So as you said, 6-0 as the teams come back upfield for the kickoff. Quincy strikes first here today on this game.
Yeah, the tentative Red Raider approach has got to change here. With 6 minutes to go, we'll see if they've got Jackson and Tregellis back on the kickoff. See if they can't get something going on this kick return, John. Red Raiders just have not got on track in this first half.
All right, back to receive will be Danny Jackson, number 3, and Alex Tregellis, number 4, for the Red Raiders, back at their own 10-yard line. And again, Diego Arredondo, the kicking duties here today for the Presidents. All right, Presidents come right out of the huddle and kick it off. Jackson will field it at his own 15-yard line, crosses the 20, 25, 30, has some space, and he has some speed, crosses the 45 to the 50, and nice return by Danny Jackson. Gets knocked down at the Quincy High School 46-yard line.
Great job by Jackson. This is one of the factors that Coach Connor talked about all year, is how determined his seniors are. Jackson showing great discipline. If you watch this replay, Red Raiders always run the ball up into the wedge, and Jackson does there. Gets some great blocks, and once he sees that opening, he takes it. Arredondo is the kicker, and he's the guy back who makes the stop, but great play by Jackson. Gives his offense super field position. They're going to be starting at the President 46. See if the Red Raiders can't turn things around.
A 39-yard return for Jackson. Thompson in motion, and they're going to give it to Watkins. Flag thrown on the play. Watkins will get up to the Quincy High 43-yard line, but it looks like this is going to be coming back.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the call is. It came from the back, Judge. Yeah, it's a
Okay, blue captain.
So a holding call against North Quincy. So just when they started to get a nice drive put together with a return by Danny Jackson, they're going to get 10 yards back, and it'll bring up now a first down and 20.
We have holding, number 84. Repeat first down.
tight end Marcellus Lee, good call for that one. We saw Dave Thompson come out on the field. Look for the Red Raiders maybe to go to the air here this possession. They've been successful when they do so. Martin can definitely deliver the ball. Let's see what the Red Raiders do here. 1st and 20.
Three receivers to the right of Martin. Joe Valpondo in the backfield. Martin gets a pass off downfield, and it's intercepted by the Presidents. Coming up with the pick, Joe Reginini.
Yeah, Lee was well overthrown on that one, and it's picked off by Reginini. I noticed David Thompson leaving the field. He may have got hurt on that tackle. If you watch the replay here, you're going to see that Lee really had no chance. Martin under pressure, overthrew Lee a bit, and Reginini right there to make the interception. Great job by senior Joe Reginini. And the Presidents, with some early fire here in this second quarter, John, have really taken control of this ball game. Red Raiders calling a timeout. I noticed, as I said, Thompson went over to the sideline. I think he injured his right arm. I don't know whether it was the arm or the leg, but he's down on one knee on the sideline. Coach Connor has to call a timeout to make an adjustment here. Thompson's one of the guys who plays a key role in the defensive backfield. So Connor got a timeout, trying to regroup the boys here. Red Raiders continue to stall, and the Presidents continue with their aggressive play, John.
So a big interception by Joe Reginini to get the ball for the Presidents. Ball is spotted at the Quincy High School 36-yard line with 5:34 left to go in the first half. And Jim, on our screen right now are a lot of the fans that are here today for the game.
Yeah, we have a shot from our field camera, John Mercurio down there, giving us a taste of what it looks like in the stands. The stands are packed with people, and the end zones are crowded as well. It's a great turnout for this ball game today, John. And the field just really shines. It looks absolutely terrific here today. Veterans Stadium really up to it on Thanksgiving Day.
1st and 10 for the Presidents. Hand off to number 3, Max DeVoe, going to the left side, and we'll get up to the 40. So a 4-yard gain. They'll bring it now a 2nd down and 6.
Yeah, it looks like they're giving Arredondo a little bit of a breather here, which is a good decision. As you said, they gave it to DeVoe, a guy who's done some running this year for the Presidents successfully. Picked up 4 on the 1st down.
Okay, so
picked up a 4-yard gain on the first play here. It was not picked up a 1st down. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, so 2nd down and 6. I formation, give it to Lewis right up the middle, and cuts it back outside. And with that, we'll get a gain of 1 on the play to the 41.
Yeah, the Presidents, as I said, good decision here. They're giving Arredondo a little bit of a break. Don't want to wear him out. It's going to be a 3rd and 5 here, and the Red Raiders really have to come up with a stop here if they want to send a message to the Presidents before going to the locker room at halftime. Presidents are delighted with what's going on the field here. This first half has gone as they hope it would. The clock is running. You can see up top we're going to be inside of 4 minutes here after this 3rd down play. So there's all kinds of things to be happy about if you're wearing blue. Conversely, the Red Raiders looking to come up with a stop here on this 3rd down.
3rd and 5. Peterson back to pass over to the right, and it is intercepted by North Quincy. Joe Valpondo with a big interception took it out of the hands of Dan Saban, and the Raiders are back in business.
Yeah, great job by Valpondo. If we get a replay, I'm not sure if we have one, but Valpondo read that beautifully, and he simply beat Saban to the ball. If you watch the replay, you're going to see here's a great shot. Watch 34 come in and just get in there and take that ball away. Great job by Valpondo of anticipating And a great job by our replay crew in the truck. Is that Peter Doherty down in the South 20?
Yes, Peter's down
We
there.
used his camera. He got that, and that was a great job on the replay. Thanks, guys.
So 1st and 10 for the Red Raiders, hand off to Watkins, and he is met in the backfield there. Big tackle by number 10, Paul Oldham. It's going to be a loss of 2 on the play, back to the Quincy High School 46-yard line.
Yeah, the Red Raiders have not been able to get outside against this President defense here. Presidents have done a great job, as I said, of taking the play to the Red Raiders all the first half. Well, one of the things they've done defensively is just completely stuffed the Red Raiders.
So 2nd down and 12 for the Red Raiders at the Quincy High School 46-yard line. Coming up on 3 minutes left to go in the first half. Split backfield behind Martin. They're going to give it to the motion man, Danny Jackson. Cutting over to the left side, gets to the 40 and brought down there by number 24, Joe Reginini. But Jackson will get up to the Quincy High 39.
Great tackle by Reginini. If he doesn't make that stop, Jackson's got a big gainer. And we've talked all season about the speed of Danny Jackson. Well, that was a great tackle by Reginini because he was out there all alone and he had to make the stop, and he did. So good job by Reginini. Red Raiders with a big 3rd down here, John. 3rd and 5 from the President 39. Given the field position and the fact we're going to be under 2 minutes, my guess is this will be 4-down territory for the Red Raiders. But look for them to push for 1st down on this play.
Handed off to Watkins over the right side, trying to get outside, and he does. Picks up the 1st down, and somersaults over a tackler, and will get up to the Quincy 31.
Nice second effort there. Outside by Watkins. He turned it up inside his tackle. And as a result of that second effort, the Red Raiders get the first down of this half. You see Dave Thompson coming out on the field. He comes in from the right of the screen, so that's a good sign that he's healthy again. Clock running down under 2 minutes here as the Red Raiders are 1st and 10 at the 32-yard line.
Martin under center, back to pass, over to his right, complete to Jackson. No, excuse me, incomplete. Jackson went to turn up field before he actually caught the ball.
Yeah, on that play, the earlier play, when Jackson got outside and was tackled by Reginini, he got up and was shaking his right hand, and you see him there still shaking it. I don't know if he did something in the palm of his hand, but he's clearly hurt, and I think that affected his ability to catch the ball there. When he went down, I'm no physician, but I know there are a lot of little bones in the palm of your hand, and the hamate rings a bell. But I don't know if he injured one of those bones or what, but that affected Jackson on that play clearly as the ball was there, and he simply could not hold on. Looks like we're getting a timeout by the President defense here.
Yeah, Quincy High School calls a timeout. While we have a quick timeout, Quincy Access TV will be replaying the 75th annual Thanksgiving football game several times over Thanksgiving weekend. On Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, it will be replayed at 4 p.m., 8 p.m., and at midnight. And on Friday and Saturday at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 8 p.m. And for future times to air, log on to QATV's website at www.qatv.org.
Yeah, one of the nice things about this, we saw it during the week, is seeing the old games. You know, some of the kids come home from college or they may be already out of college and they get to watch themselves on TV. That's the great thing about these productions, John.
2nd down and 10, and multiple flags thrown on the play. Looks like we're going to have a false start on North Quincy.
Yeah, they're going to get Jackson on that one. Danny's a little upset with himself.
We have a dead ball foul, false start on the offense, still 2nd down.
Dan seems a little preoccupied now with the condition of his hand, and that's affecting his concentration as well. But this is, again, the loss of Cahill. They just lack depth back there. They're leaving Jackson in. And Danny's got to step it up a bit. With 1:53 to go, he's getting a break here. I think the coaches saw that. There's definitely something bothering him. Hopefully they can address it because Dan's one of the guys they rely on. He's taken one knee, and we'll see if he can't come back healthy after a bit of a break. Valpondo, the lone back, John.
Second down and 15 from the 37 pass, and it is incomplete. Looks like a miscommunication between the route there run by Pat Watkins and quarterback Dennis Martin.
Yeah, Watkins turned it up and was laying a block down as the ball came out into the flat for him. So Watkins and Martin, as you said, miscommunicated. Red Raider offense looking very tentative and stumbling at a key juncture here, John. They had a little momentum generated, and now they're looking at a 3rd and 15 at a point in time when they had a shot to deliver a message back to the determined presidents. But instead, they continue to look a little balky here, and I know that the presidents want to do all they can to leave them in that state.
So 3rd and 15 from the 37-yard line of Quincy High School. Martin back to pass. Looking downfield for a man, and it is broken up there. Great defensive effort by number 23, Dan Saban.
Oh, yeah, Saban was all over that one. Did a nice job of breaking up the play. Who do they have down there on the sideline? I'm trying to pick up the number of who was down there.
Looked like it might have been number 2, Matt J.
Yeah, it was Matt J., who's a defensive back and an occasional receiver. Jay was there, but a great job by Saban, as you said, John. He read that beautifully, looked back into the sun, and made the play.
North's forced to punt, 4th and long. Martin punts it from his 47-yard line. High punt. And ball's loose, recovered by Thompson, and he goes in for the touchdown.
Big turnover. Just what the Red Raiders would have hoped for and what Coach Noble wanted not to see. It looks like there's some activity, though, among the officials. It may be President Ball. Let's get out of the field. Oh, it looks like they're not allowing the advance. The Red Raiders take possession at the 15-yard line, but the Thompson run is going to be taken off the board. If you watch the replay here, let's see what happened. It may be that when Thompson caught the ball, his leg hit the ground. I'm not sure. Well, they did not allow the advance. The point where Thompson caught the ball is where the ball is stopped, and the Red Raider offense takes over at the 15-yard line. Let's see if they can't capitalize on the turnover.
Handed off to Watkins over to the right side, and he is brought down at the Quincy High School 12-yard line. So gain of 3 on the play.
Clock's going to continue to run inside of 120. President defense looking to come up big. Coach Reardon rotating players in and out. You can see now that he's suspicious of a pass play where he's changing personnel here. And the Red Raiders taking a lot of time in the huddle, John. They've got to be a little more aware of the clock. We're 50 seconds and counting here, and Martin just let 25 seconds burn off the clock.
Handed off this time, and big tackle there. Danny Jackson on the run, brought down by Paul Oldham, And clock continues to tick down with 35 seconds now left to go in the half.
Yeah, they're going to get a timeout, which is a good decision. When this started, there was a minute 20. They've run one play, and we're now down at 32 seconds. Not the type of clock management you'd want to see. One factor the Red Raiders do have here on the sideline is Zach Deegan, young man who's been a successful field goal kicker for the Red Raiders all season. We see him over on the far sideline, number 6, warming up his leg. He's a senior. And if they have to, John, and they kick the field goal, that would be helpful here. That's where the earlier missed point after could be a bit of a factor. But Red Raiders in a nice position as a result of the turnover. But the offense continuing to stumble here, John, in this first half.
Quincy High School 2 turnovers here today. An interception thrown by Lance Peterson, intercepted by Joe Valpondo, and then the fumble on the punt by Quincy High School, which was recovered by Dave Thompson. And that's where they stand right now. North Quincy has 1 turnover right now. Interception throw by Dennis Martin, picked off by Joe Reginini. So it's going to bring up now a 3rd down and long to go for the Red Raiders. Ball is spotted at the Quincy High School 13-yard line, 3rd down and 8.
Coach Reardon's got 5 defensive backs out there.
He's going to go with his 4 down linemen, and he's got a 2 linebacker set. So I think he's expecting, he's got Joe Reginini back at the goal line. It's 3rd down, 8, ball on the 13, big play for the Red Raiders.
And it looks like now Quincy High School is forced to call a timeout. Coach Bill Reardon saw something he didn't like over there and called a timeout to get the right personnel on the field.
Well, also, I think it may not have been so much that he saw something he didn't like. It's just that he saw what they're doing, John. They've saved the timeouts. He wanted to see what the Red Raiders had planned, and you're right. He's changing personnel, bringing some linebackers in, so he saw a running set there on that play. Maybe anticipating that Coach Connor's going to go conservative and look for the field goal. Not sure. 3rd down and 8 here, John. See what the Red Raiders can do. Sun is out and fully affecting the field. It's going to affect the defensive backs if the Red Raiders did go to the air.
32 seconds left to go in the first half. Quincy on top by a score of 6-0. North threatening here.
Got a full house backfield.
Fake the handoff. Looking for the end zone, Marcellus Lee. And it is touchdown, North Quincy. Marcellus Lee, a great catch.
Absolutely. Not only that, but a super throw by Martin. He delivered that ball beautifully, and Lee caught it despite the fact there was great coverage on that play. When we see the replay, you're going to see that Lee was all wrapped up. There was not much more that the defensive player could do, but a ball that was delivered beautifully by Martin.
All right, we'll take a look at the replay after the point-after attempt. Zach Deegan, the kicker, out there for the Red Raiders. Kick is up, and it is good. So North Quincy takes the lead, 7-6.
Yeah, nice job by the Red Raiders. They hung tough, and finally caught a break at the end. Their special teams, which has been the strength of this team all year, created a turnover. And then Martin and Lee, the seniors, if you watch this replay, Martin and Lee connect. Here you see Martin going back. Now watch this ball. Lee is at the left of the screen. He's well covered, and that's just a beautifully thrown ball. Who's over there? That's Saban again, the guy who made the stop earlier. Saban was right there, John. Made the attempt at the ball, but it was beautifully thrown, and Marcellus Lee with a great reception. So with 26 seconds to go in this first half, Red Raiders come up with a score and take the lead 7-6.
So the turnover hurts the Presidents on the fumbled punt return. North Quincy had the very short field to work with, taking over in the Quincy High School 15, and 3 plays later they punch it in for the touchdown and take the lead 7-6.
Squib man back out on the field here, and this is going to be a big kickoff for the Red Raiders. They want to contain the Presidents with 26 seconds to go.
Presidents do have 2 timeouts left to try to work downfield, depending on how the return looks. So squib kick, and it's going to be fielded at the 22-yard line by the Presidents. Crosses the 30, and big hit there by Danny Jackson on the ball carrier for the Presidents, and he's going to get lost there on the play. Dan Saban on the return.
Yeah, great job by the coverage team. Danny Jackson in there, as you said, for the big hit. Seems to have shaken off that hand injury we talked about, but, you know, when he's in the locker room at halftime, the hand could tighten up a bit. We'll have to see how he does in the third quarter, but Danny, a tough young man, did a good job of shaking off the hand injury. And we got to give credit to Mike Mann, the kicker. That's the second kick that he successfully executed here. So Mike doing his job in this Thanksgiving Day game. Red Raider defense has a safety all the way back at the 45, Martin. And they're going to look to just hold the Presidents here and get to the locker room.
Hand off to Arredondo, and he's going to get up to the 35-yard line. And it looks like Coach Noble is going to be happy with that run, and they'll go to the halftime trailing by 1.
Yeah, this is what the Red Raiders wanted to see, John. There's a little more fire now inside those white shirts. They're a little more pumped up. They needed that score heading into the locker room, and they got it. It's a 7-6 ball game as we go to the locker room, John, and I think it's going to be an exciting second half. The Red Raiders finally got their legs under them. President's a determined group, aggressive all first half. Well, now the Red Raiders look like they're ready to play and should be an exciting second half.
Yeah, the Red Raiders put a stop to the running game of the Presidents on the first 2 drives for the Presidents. Diego Arredondo had 53 rushing yards. On the last drives, he only had 6. So the Presidents, 8 yards. So the Red Raiders put the running game to a halt there. Well, at halftime of the 75th annual Thanksgiving Day football game, it is the Red Raiders 7, the Quincy Presidents 6. Jim and I will take a timeout, and we'll be back with second half coverage after this. Welcome back, everyone, to the 75th annual Thanksgiving Day football game. We're about to begin the third quarter, and it is 7-6, North Quincy on top of the Presidents. My name is Jonathan Caleri, being joined by Jim Timmons. And, Jim, we saw a tale of 2 quarters in the first half. In the first quarter, North Quincy came out and, Quincy High School came out and played very well. And then in the second quarter, North Quincy came out and did very well in the second quarter.
Yeah, you're correct. I will say it seemed that North did better in the final 1:30 of the quarter. They made that special teams play. They did a great job of punting by Martin and taking advantage of the sun conditions, and then they got the ball in. It was very dispiriting for the Presidents the way the Red Raiders scored, but we'll see whether they can the Presidents can regroup and come out here and play a second half like they did the first. They were really on top of the Raiders most of the half until that final minute and a half or so, John.
All right, captains are out in the field. North Quincy won the opening coin toss, and they selected to defer. And look, they're going to be defending the south end zone. Quincy will be defending the north end zone, and North Quincy will be receiving the opening second half kick. All right, so both teams captains go to their sidelines again. The captains once again for each team. For Quincy High School, Joe Reginini, Diego Arredondo, Matt Oriel, and Zach Olson. For North Quincy, Danny Jackson, Alex Tregellis, Dave Thompson, and Sekou Benjamin.
Yeah, look for an exciting second half here. It seems like the Red Raiders, after a tentative, slow first half, are fired up and ready to go. Presidents look like they regroup well in the locker room, John. Coming into the game, we all called them the underdog. They're sitting at 7-6. I know they didn't feel like an underdog. One of the factors for the President offense was, I'm sure, the fact that Diego Arredondo wore down a bit over the course of the first half. He should be a little refreshed, and we'll see how he does in the second half. He's the key for the Presidents. Red Raiders are going to start with the ball in this third quarter, and this should send a signal as to what we're looking at here. We'll see if the Red Raider offense can't get on track coming right out of the locker room, John.
Speaking of Diego Arredondo, on the President's first 2 drives, he had 53 yards rushing. On the second 2 drives, he had only 8 yards rushing. Total 61 yards in the first half for Diego Arredondo, the senior running back for the Presidents.
He's kicking off using the squib approach, and it's covered very alertly and very well down there by number 45 for the Red Raiders. Another great special teams play, Terrence Staley. Arredondo has traditionally kicked away, and I'm sure that the upbacks are not expecting a squib-type kick. But Staley did an excellent job of covering it, and the Red Raiders are going to start 1st and 10 from the 31.
Again, score is 7-6 as we get underway here in the second half. North comes out with a full house backfield. Jackson, Valpondo, and Watkins in the backfield behind quarterback Dennis Martin. Hand off to Valpondo, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage by several Quincy High School Presidents. Up there was number 55, Paul Carson, on the initial hit.
Testing, 1, 2, 3,
Being joined in the booth by Mayor-elect Tom Koch, who came up. Welcome, Tom. Maybe we'll give you the headphones. You can say hello and talk with John for a couple of plays.
Thank you, Jimmy.
All right, Tom will be with you in 1 moment. 2nd down and 11 for the North Quincy Raiders. Back to passes Martin, and miscommunication there on North Quincy as to which route was supposed to be run. Again, Tom Koch, mayor-elect here in the city of Quincy. And Tom, always a great day here on Thanksgiving between these two teams.
Oh, it's always a fun day. And getting into the stadium here, the sun just all of a sudden broke out. It's gorgeous out. What a terrific day.
And it certainly is, and I can see a great crowd here that's been joining us here today. As you said, the sun come out, and all the people have come out here in the city as well.
Yeah, it's a great reunion weekend for a lot of families between Thanksgiving, the big game, the parade coming up Sunday. It's just a great weekend for the whole city.
3rd down and 11 again for the Raiders. Ball on their own 30-yard line. Martin again rolling out to his right, looking downfield to pass, and was going to pass and gets sacked. Big hit there by Devin Gillen for the Presidents, and a big loss. Flag is thrown on the play, though. So, Tom, you've obviously been very busy in the past few months, and getting a little rest now, getting ready for the inauguration coming up?
Yeah, we're building a great team. We've got a transition team working on things. Inauguration committee putting things together for January 7th. Looking forward to it. It's been a great year. Truly, it's Thanksgiving. I've truly been blessed with this opportunity to serve the city, and we're going to make the most of it. I could just take this opportunity
we have holding.
To wish
number
everybody
84 on the offense. Declined. 4th down.
All right, well, Tom, we want to thank you very much for stopping by, and we wish you and your family happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks very much, Jonathan. Thank you, Jim.
All right, so the punt was against North Quincy. It was a hole. It was declined by the Presidents, and they're going to be North Quincy's forced to punt. And it's going to roll to the Quincy High School 48-yard line, and that's where the Presidents will take over.
That was nice of Tom Koch to stop by and visit us. One thing we should comment on, we had quite an election between Tom and Mayor Phelan. They really went at each other pretty good. It was a contested and hotly contested election. But Mayor Phelan has shown great class since the election and during the transition period. Tom Koch as well. It's one of the great things about the city is that the people involved in government always put the residents and the city first. So we're all very lucky for that in light of some of the things we see out there in the world of politics. So nice to see Tom Koch in the booth on this great Thanksgiving day.
All right, Diego Arredondo is going to take the direct snap. He's going to run it and crosses the 50-yard line, and we'll get up now to the North Quincy 48. Gain of 5 on that play.
Yeah, I had my headset off earlier, so I wasn't able to comment on it, but what a play by Devin Gillen there to come up with a big stop on Martin. Martin was looking to unload the ball there, John, and just as he did, Gillen came into the view of Martin, and he tried to cover up the ball. It was an athletic play by Martin to avoid a fumble. So great job by this President defense that just keeps taking the play to the Red Raiders.
Diego Arredondo again under center, and we'll take it one more time. Direct snap to him. He crosses the 45-yard line. Flag thrown on the play, and this looks like it's going to come back. A holding call against the Presidents is most likely coming up.
Yeah, R.J. Barden, a guy we've talked about some over the course of the past 2 years. He is a phenomenally quick lineman, and he is just getting such penetration there. That time he was in the backfield, and the only option for Paul Carson
he tackled him.
Really was to grab him. You
holding,
hear the official.
Number 55, repeat 2nd down.
You heard the official saying to Coach Noble, come on, Coach, he tackled him. That was all that Carson could do there to stop Barden, who's just all fired up. And this is what the Red Raiders need, John, because unfortunately the fire and the aggression in the play has only been in the blue shirts thus far, and they need guys to play in the white shirts the way RJ has his first series of downs here.
So 10-yard loss will be 2nd down and 15 now from the 42. President switch it up. Peterson now goes to wide right, and Mark Gilbody now on the shotgun for quarterback. Keeps it himself, runs up the middle, breaks one tackle, across the 45, another tackle, and another flag thrown on the play, and this one looks like it's coming back as well.
And I'll tell you what, I think the Red Raiders will take it, even though they got the stop there. That stop was made. Hold on, are we going to go to the mic or? Well, that stop was made by Dave Thompson. Now we're going to go to the mic.
We have personal foul, number 55, dead ball foul, 3rd down.
So a personal foul and a 15-yard penalty against Quincy High School. So that'll march the Presidents back even further.
That's 25 yards on 2 plays. Red Raiders got to be delighted for these developments. We could hear Coach Noble in the background there. He's very upset about them. So got to stay disciplined here. And Presidents got to tighten their chin straps. It's 3rd and a boatload for the Presidents.
It is 10 and 17, pass over to Raditz, and he goes up the middle. He'll get up to about the 35-yard line for a gain of 5 on that play.
Yeah, the tackle there was made by Joe Benoit, a lineman. So that tells you something about that play. What they were trying to do was get it out to Raditz in the slot and run it almost as if it were a screen play. But Benoit made some great penetration there, broke that play up. It's going to be 4th down. It's about 22 yards to go as Arredondo lines up to punt the ball away.
Back to receive the punt are Tregellis and Watkins for the Red Raiders. Yeah, a good kick there by Diego Arredondo. Watkins is going to take it at his own 30. Fumbles the ball. Picked up by Joe Valpondo. And he's immediately brought down there. So nice punt coverage by Quincy High School. And North Quincy is lucky to get that ball back.
Oh, great special teams by the Presidents. A super punt by Arredondo. That was huge. That created an opportunity for the rest of the special teams, as you indicated, John, to come down and make the play, and that they did. So Presidents continue to play well on both sides of the ball, including special teams here. And they lock up the Red Raiders just inside their 30, where Dennis Martin and the offense take over, eager to get things going for the Red Raiders.
Watkins goes in motion. He'll take the handoff, and he's going to get a gain of 1 of the play up to the 31.
Yeah, a little counter play basically goes nowhere for the Red Raiders. They get stopped after, as you said, a gain of 1. Had a little trouble getting the running game going, and we'll see what Coach Connor does here during the second half to come up with a solution for that. The Red Raiders just have not been able to get anything substantial going against this President defense, John.
So 2nd down and 9 for the Red Raiders. Ball at their own 31-yard line. 6:25 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Watkins again, the man in motion, over to the right side, being pursued, and gets hit and will go out of bounds. Goes out of bounds at the 33, excuse me.
Yeah, nice tackle out there by Paul Oldham, the senior defensive back, and also out there on the stop, Matt Oriel, senior captain. President defense continues to do the job on the outside.
So 3rd down and 7 now for the Red Raiders. Again, North Quincy on top, 7-6.
We're halfway through a 3rd quarter that can be best described as nondescript here, John. Neither team has really done much coming out of the locker room here.
Valpondo, low man in the backfield. Martin back to pass. Rolling to his right, fires, and it is...
Wow.
Let's see if they call. They're going to call it incomplete. Pass is intended for Alex Tregellis, and Tregellis trapped it, so incomplete. It'll be 4th and long. North will be forced to punt.
How Martin got the ball in there and how Tregellis caught it, you know. I mean, obviously, I guess he trapped it, but I don't know. Again, that was great coverage by the Presidents. Similar to the touchdown play where you think there's nowhere for the ball to go, but somehow Martin gets it there. That one was ruled a trap. And so the Presidents are going to, Red Raiders are going to punt away. Another nice punt by Martin.
Fair catch called by Anthony Raditz, and he does a nice job to hang on to it, making a shoestring catch there. And fair catch is called, and it'll be marked down at the 46-yard line of Quincy High.
I'll tell you one thing. Raditz has saved the Red Raiders probably 30 to 40 yards here. I beg your pardon. Raditz has saved the Presidents probably 30 to 40 yards here on his punt execution. By catching that ball, he doesn't take the risk that the ball starts bouncing Red Raider way. And we have seen that happen before, John. It's so important for your punt return man to get in there and catch the ball. And Raditz doing so in traffic all game.
Lewis goes in motion. They're going to give it back to Lewis on the counter play. Flag thrown on the play. Lewis gets up to the 50-yard line. And again, this looks like might be on the Presidents.
We'll see if it is. There's going to be some problems here. It is another hold.
So another holding call on Quincy High School. Ball was on the 46. Referee John Magnarelli over to talk to the North Quincy High School captain, Sekou Benjamin. And we'll go down to the field for his call.
We have holding, number 55 on the offense. Repeat first down.
So another 10-yard penalty. And now move the ball back down to the 36-yard line. First down and 20.
Yeah, the officials indicating they keep making the calls on Carson. And what the official's indicating is that he's getting his hands and arms away from his body. It's so important for an offensive lineman to keep their hands in tight. And Carson, in an effort to make plays there, getting his arms away from his body, and he's getting caught for it. They keep making the calls on him, so he's got to work on that.
Pitch to Arredondo, crosses the 40, up now to the 45, and brought down at the 47-yard line where he's knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, he was pursued to the sideline by Watkins, and the tackle was made over there by, trying to get the number. I missed the number on that one. I think it was Martin who made the tackle, actually. They got Martin going both ways here. He sometimes comes in as the nickel back, but they've got him out there now. So Red Raiders pulling out all the stops here, John, to protect their 7-6 lead.
Gain of 11 for Arredondo. Bring up now second down and 9 for the Presidents. Lewis goes in motion, is now wide left. Sean Gray now comes in motion, going to right. Pitch to Arredondo to the right side. Cuts back up the middle, and he'll pick up another gain of 1 up to the 48.
Yeah, we talked when the game started about conditioning. And not to imply that Diego could have done more about his conditioning or that he might be in better condition, but simply to make the point that Diego Arredondo goes both ways. He's the punter on special teams, and in that capacity, he's the safety valve. So he is out on that field constantly, and you knew that he was going to wear down. And there are signs of that here. You pointed out to those signs late in the first half, and Diego having a little trouble accelerating up into the holes here as we get deeper into this second half.
He sent Lewis in motion, fake the handoff to him. Peterson out in the flat trying to pass, and is forced to bring it down, and is sacked behind the line of scrimmage by Marcellus Lee.
Yeah, I think that might have been Velpondo,
excuse
actually.
me, yep, 34, not 84.
Yeah, I think it was Velpondo, and out there was Jesse Scamille with some great penetration. Benoit as well. They chased him out of the pocket, chased Peterson out of the pocket. Stilley, the right defensive end, was over there. And Velpondo came in, as you said, once he was flushed out of the pocket and made the tackle. So great job by the Red Raider defense. And Diego Arredondo is back to punt for the Presidents.
Alex Tregellis back deep for the Red Raiders to receive the punt. And a flag can be thrown on the play. There was movement on both lines.
A dead ball foul. False start. Number 33 in the offense. Still fourth down.
I'll tell you what, John, this has been tough for the Presidents. They have just really been undisciplined here in this third quarter. What's the penalty count now?
Let me tally it up here. It looks like they have 8 penalties for 70 yards.
In this third quarter?
Oh, I'm sorry. Just in the third quarter, they have 4 penalties for 40 yards.
Wow. Yeah, and it's been a hurtful 40, too. It's been tough. It's really cost them.
All right, punch field by Pat Watkins at the 23-yard line over to the right. Big block thrown there, and he is knocked out of bounds by Sean Gray. So North Quincy trying to get some emotion going on their sidelines and getting pumped up.
I'll tell you, if you watch this replay, watch the block by Martin on Stefan Davis. There's the punt away where I can see we're on Peter Doherty's camera. And watch this block. You're going to see number 17, the blue shirt, come from your right. Now watch this block on him. And to his credit, he gets absolutely blasted there. But Davis popped right up, came to the sideline, a tough young man. He took that hit by Martin, and he's right back on his feet.
So 1st and 10 for North Quincy at their own 36. The pitcher with Joe Valpondo is way back in his field, and he is pursued, and he is hit way back. Big loss for the Red Raiders. Over there were several presidents. Aaron Dondo, also was Saban, and number 81 as well, Gerard Shea.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a loss of 7, a little more than 7 there. And President defense trying to fire up the blue sideline here. Going to be 2nd and 17. We'll talk a little bit about the Red Raider line. We introduced the guys in blue, and we should talk about who's down there blocking for the Red Raiders. I know that the left tackle is number 63, Big Greg Ingram. Greg's one of the bigger guys on the field, very athletic. He gets outside, and the Red Raiders really rely on him. The left guard is number 73, Joe Benoit, who goes both ways. He gets really worn down over the course of a game, too. Another guy who's in the trenches. We'll get to the right side in a moment once I get everything clarified there, but I know one of the guys, number 55, R.J. Barden, is the right tackle. Sekou Benjamin is playing right guard today, number 50. And then snapping the ball for the Red Raiders, the center is number 56, Mike Mann.
All right, so 2nd down and 17. Martin back to pass, pump fakes, looking downfield for Turgelis. And it is picked off by Anthony Raditz. Raditz crosses over to North Quincy territory and gets knocked out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Great play by Anthony Raditz for the pick.
Yeah, that ball floated, though. I'll tell you, if you watch the replay, you're going to see that the ball was up there for a long time. Martin is back. He gets the ball up there, and you see all 3 players now waiting on it, and Raditz with the big interception. You know, I misspoke there. The center for the Red Raiders is 66, a junior, Chris Bergeron. Mike Mann is the kicker, Squib Mann, but Bergeron is the center. So those are the offensive linemen for the Red Raiders. Nice interception by Raditz. President defense coming up big again, John. And the Presidents are going to start with great field position at the 33.
You send Tim Lewis in motion. They hand off to Aaron Dondo. He pitches it back now to Peterson, looking for Saban downfield. This could be trouble again, and it is caught by Dan Saban. Almost picked off by the Red Raiders, but Saban came down with it.
Yeah, that time both Martin and Marcellus Lee were on the coverage. They both went for the interception. Or I'm sorry, it was Martin and Valpondo. They both played the ball. If you watch this replay, you're going to see Valpondo and Martin both playing the ball. And as a result, here it is as it comes in. They're going after the ball. Saban stayed with it and made the reception. And now the Presidents are knocking on the door. 1st and goal from the 5.
Handed off to Aaron Donner over to the right side, and he gets brought down there. Sekou Benjamin was first on the scene. Flag thrown on the play.
Coming all the way over from the right side, Tim Stilley to make the tackle. Let's see what the call is. Presidents are clapping here. You're going to get a face mask on the Red Raiders. That's going to move the ball down to probably, the ball's at about the 1 right now. or 2.
So ball's
And,
at the 2, yeah, so half the distance to the goal. We'll go down to the call.
We have 5-yard face mask. Number 80 on the defense. Still
Right.
first down.
They got Stilley for what's referred to as an inadvertent face mask. They deemed it not intentional as part of the tackle. He got his hand up in the mask. They called him for it. So, President's knocking on the door here. Players trying to get the fans fired up, and they are. It's a great turnout by the Quincy High School alum here, John.
All right, the clock expires here in the third quarter, and with that, the Presidents will march downfield, go from 1-1-yard line to the north end zone 1-yard line with the opportunity to score, trailing 7-6.
Yeah, this is going to be big for the Presidents. And again, it's turnovers that are dictating what's going on in this game, John. Coach Connor, it's an old maxim in football, but it's one that Connor really preached, is that you want to be playing mistake-free football. Well, it was a mistake at the end of the first half that put the Red Raiders in a position to get to the end zone. And now an interception for the Red Raiders is proving costly here as the Presidents are knocking on the door. They're first and goal from the 1, and they're going to be down in the north end zone here as the teams change sides of the field. So with a guy like Diego Arredondo in your backfield, I'd have to say that you can take to the bank when you're first and goal from the 1 that the Presidents are going to get on the board. So it's going to lead to an interesting fourth quarter here, John.
Yeah, certainly can look forward to 4 straight plays to Diego Arredondo, their main man. Arredondo is one of the top scorers in the Atlantic Coastal League, number 6 with 57 points, 8 touchdowns, and 9 point afters here this year.
Yeah, he's had a super season. Here they go.
All right, first and goal from the 1-yard line. To Arredondo to the right side, and in for the touchdown he goes. Presidents take the lead.
Yeah, no question there. Arredondo just blasted it right in. Now, I would expect that the Presidents would go for 2 here, but we'll see what they do. They missed the earlier point after, and given the shift in momentum here, yeah, you see Lance Peterson is down with Coach Noble, so they're going to be going for 2 here. And this is a big play here, because if they do not make it, all the Red Raiders need to get the lead back is score. They wouldn't have to execute a point after. But if they do score 2 here, it would force the Red Raiders not only to score, but to execute a point after as well.
St.
Peterson.
Louis in motion, over to Arredondo, stays on his feet, and goes in for the 2 points. Diego Arredondo dove from the 2-yard line after breaking a tackle by Sekou Benjamin, gets to 2 points, and the Presidents take the lead 14-7.
Yeah, Benjamin and also number 73, Benoit, they were in there. Benoit with a great penetration, allowing Benjamin to get in and wrap up Arredondo. But Diego Arredondo would not be denied. Could see the determination there. He gets it into the end zone, and the Presidents take a 14-7 lead here with 3 seconds gone in this fourth quarter, John.
So the turnover by North Quincy, the interception thrown by Dennis Martin, picked off by Anthony Raditz, comes back to hurt them. And a big play there was a 28-yard pass from quarterback Lance Peterson to wide receiver Dan Sabin. One up there, took it out of the hands of 2 defenders for North Quincy, put the Presidents at the 5-yard line. After a penalty, Diego Arredondo punches it in for a 1-yard touchdown run. And after the 2 points, again, it's 14-7 Quincy High School with 10:57 left to go in the fourth. So plenty of time for the Red Raiders to come back.
Yeah, one thing now. Now it is the kick return men for the Red Raiders, Jackson and Tregellis, who are looking into the sun. And we'll look for Quincy Arredondo to kick the ball toward the right side of the field. The wind's picked up a little bit, but the sun is kind of over the left shoulder of the Quincy kicker, so he'll probably kick it at Jackson. And he does. They kick it down the right side of the field to take advantage of the sun.
Jackson takes it at his 12, and we'll get up now to the 33-yard line where he is brought down there. Nice tackle by number 87, Adam Jean-Baptiste, the junior from Quincy High.
Yeah, he was in on the tackle, and also down there for coverage for the Presidents was Tommy Petiti, only a sophomore, number 40. So good special teams by the Presidents. And Red Raiders with a decent return are going to start 1st and 10 from their 32. This Red Raider offense has to get on track here, John.
The leading rusher and point scorer for North Quincy, John Cahill, had 8 touchdowns this season, out with the game with a broken collarbone. So North Quincy has been affected by that. A big loss for them here in this game. 1st down and 10 from their own 32. Martin back to pass over to Jackson, and Jackson had some space, but when it threw his hands, went to run with it before he caught it.
Yeah, the way the play is designed is Jackson makes the reception and then tries to turn it up, running inside the defender. Danny was moving before he caught the ball, however, and lucky that there was not an interception there. So Red Raiders go into the air trailing 14-7 with 10:46 to go.
2 receivers wide. Handed off now to Watkins. And Watkins is going to get up to the 35-yard line.
John, we've been joined up in the booth by school committeeman Dave McCarthy. Dave recently re-elected for a 4-year term, showing the wisdom of the Quincy electorate. And Dave, we'll turn over the microphone to you. You can chat with John a bit.
Thanks, Jim. John, you got a great game going today, huh?
Yeah, we certainly do. A fantastic game, as always, here on Thanksgiving Day. And I'll get to you question for 1 second. It is 3rd down and 7 for North Quincy. And Tim Lewis is going to jump off sides. It'll be a 5-yard penalty against Quincy High School. Well, congratulations and on the re-election, and a great day here for Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah, it's great. The weather, the sun came out.
Offsides on the defense.
Bad weather burned off, and there's a tremendous crowd here today and a great game.
Now, we certainly know you're a big sports fan, and out in a lot of the events here in the city of Quincy, and great to see the big turnout here today.
Yeah, oh no, a tremendous crowd. I try to keep up with Mr. Timmons as much as possible. He's out as much as I am at these sporting events. But today is a typical North Quincy Thanksgiving Turkey Day football game.
All right, so that was a 5-yard penalty against Quincy High School on the offside. So bring up now a 3rd down and 2 for North Quincy. Clock ticks down, 9:40 left to go in the game. Hand off to Watkins, and ball is loose. Ball is still loose. No sign yet as to who recovered. And Quincy High School has recovered the ball. So a big fumble there by North Quincy, picked up by the Presidents.
Yeah, that's a huge play by Quincy. I thought North had their hand in there, was going to get it back, and now we have Quincy on the march again. So I'm sure North will make a tremendous defensive stance to try to keep the game close. And I'll turn it back over to Mr. Timmons. And happy Thanksgiving, John. It's a pleasure to come up here. Happy Thanksgiving, Jim. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, David, and have a happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well.
Yeah, once Dave McCarthy goes to color commentary, you know it's time to get the microphone from him. So we're glad Dave showed up in the booth. Thank you for coming by.
All right, as a handoff now to Diego Arredondo over to the left side. Quincy took over at the North Quincy 32-yard line. And Arredondo's going to run that ball up to the 27.
I'll tell you what, John, you really have to give the Presidents credit because they had a very dispiriting end to a good first half for them. They played solid all half. You thought the wind might have been taken out of their sails, but they continue to take the play to the Red Raiders here. Big turnover after that touchdown.
Again, they give it to Arredondo, and big run by him right up the middle. Hurdled over a couple of tacklers, crosses the 20, and will get up now to the North Quincy High School 17-yard line.
Yeah, getting up a little slowly after that play is number 72, Taylor Radcliffe for Quincy, one of the linemen. He's a junior lineman, 6'3", 270, one of their big guns. He's going to come off for a little break. He's limping. But I'll tell you what, Red Raiders getting a much-needed timeout to regroup here. They need to come up with a stop here. This is just a must-do at this point here. Defense has to come up with a stop.
All right. So it is first down and 10 for the Presidents. Ball at the North Quincy 17-yard line. 8:42. Quincy on top, 14-7. We'll have to punch in another touchdown here, Jim, and increase that lead, but also take some time off the clock.
Yeah, well, it's going to be the Arredondo show here. And right now, he's got an adrenaline rush that's going to fuel him for this final few minutes of his high school career. We talked about his conditioning earlier, and much to that young man's credit, he has been there every time the Presidents have called on him. He's really performed well. And if you're wearing a white shirt, just look for number 25 in blue and focus on him, because I suspect that that's going to be the President game plan here on this drive.
So first and 10 for the Presidents. I formation behind quarterback Lance Peterson. They're going to give it to Tim Lewis on the fullback carry. He's going to get up to the 15, up to the 14-yard line. Still on his feet, actually. And we're going to see if he loses yards or not. He was up to the 14-yard line. Well, that's where his forward progress stopped, but then he made more moves after that. So it's actually going to be a loss on the play, all the way back now to the 23.
Nice job by Marcellus Lee of staying with the tackle. Great determination by number 31, Lewis. He just kept driving and driving and driving, and would not be denied. It's going to be second and about 16. You're correct that as a result of his effort, it was a loss, but the bottom line is the clock keeps running, and the President keeps sending a message to the Red Raiders that there's no quit in the blue shirts.
Sean Gray goes in motion behind Peterson. Pitch to the left to Arredondo. Over to the left, and he puts his shoulder down and gets some big yards up to the 15-yard line.
Yeah, Benjamin with the first hit. Still he stayed with it and made the tackle. Nice run by Arredondo. And the bend but do not break defense of the Red Raiders. Again holding here. It's going to be 3rd and 8, and this is a huge third down play for the Red Raiders. They simply have to come up with a stop.
That 8-yard gain puts Arredondo over the 100-yard mark today with 103 yards.
Great effort for Diego, and an appropriate thing for him to end his football career at Quincy High on. Appropriate note, I should say, to end his football career. He's been Mr. Everything for the Presidents, and particularly this year. And for Diego to go out with a 100-yard game on Thanksgiving Day, that's a wonderful tribute. Kicking tee coming out on the field. We'll see if he can do it all. He's going to be kicking a field goal here that's going to be about 34 yards, John. This is huge because this will result in a 2-score deficit for the Red Raiders, should he execute.
All right, so as you said, Arredondo will put the field goal attempt up. They're going to put it down at the 22-yard line, so it'll be a 32-yard field goal attempt. Good snap, good hold, kick is up, and it is no good, just wide right.
Yeah, nice effort by Arredondo. Raiders catch a break there, but this Red Raider offense has to come out and do something now, John, with 6:11 to go. Trailing 14-7. Red Raiders are going to take over at the 20-yard line, and we'll see if they can't get something going offensively.
6:11 left to go in the game. 14-7, Quincy High School on top of the North Quincy Red Raiders. Again, ball is spotted now at the 20-yard line for the Red Raiders. First down and 10. Watkins goes wide left. Tregellis goes wide right. Joe Valpondo in the backfield behind quarterback Dennis Martin. Martin back to pass, gets it off down the middle, and it's picked off by Arredondo. Crosses the 20, 15, 10, 5, and did he get in for the touchdown? Yes, he did. Touchdown. Diego Arredondo runs it back.
I'll tell you, at the beginning of the game, we talked about the Diego Arredondo show, expecting that it would be a running game situation where he'd be running the ball for the Presidents, and they'd be relying on that. But Diego is doing it from all sides here today. And defensively, watch this interception on replay. What a great effort, followed by a great run back. There's the reception, and Diego takes it to the house for what could be a back-breaking score. He's kicking the point after now. It's up, and it looks good. It is. Went right past the left shoulder. You can see up on the screen there, Jim Tanzi, our cameraman, who's got the end zone shot going. Jim's been up there all game, looking into the sun, working hard and doing a great job. There's a nice shot at Jim. He's one of the members of the board of directors for QATV, and he's doubling up today as a cameraman and doing a terrific job. Well, I'll tell you what, John, that's a huge turn of events. That touchdown could be the backbreaker as the Presidents extend their lead to 21-7.
It was a 28-yard interception and return for Diego Arredondo. So Arredondo gets his team on the board here today.
We should indicate that there's more to that story than simply the great play by Arredondo at the back end. Martin was under intense pressure, and one of the reasons the ball was slightly underthrown was just as he threw the ball, he was hit. So, unfortunately, unfortunately for the Raiders, but fortunately for the Presidents, the pressure that Martin is under has affected his ability to deliver the ball, and Arredondo capitalized with a beautiful 28-yard interception, run back, and the Presidents now lead 21-7.
All right, Diego Arredondo had to go into the locker room. Not exactly sure why. So Max DeVoe, number 3, will be kicking off for the Presidents right now. Gets a kickoff. It is a good kick, fielded by Jackson at his own 15-yard line. Crosses the 25, up to the 30, now to the 35, and he's brought down from behind, and he'll get up now to the 37-yard line for the Red Raiders.
Another nice run back by Jackson. Gives the Red Raiders solid field position. In on the tackle for Quincy, Adam John Baptiste again. Baptiste Jr. has been great on special teams.
Yeah. Not even
And as we said last time they had the ball, John, the Red Raiders have to get something going offensively here.
5:54 left to go in the ball game. 14-point lead for the Presidents, up 21-7. Handed off to Valpondo, up the middle, crosses the 40, and falls forward up to the 44-yard line. Nice run by Joe Valpondo on first down.
Gets the ball out to the 43-yard line, where it's going to be a 2nd and 4 for the Red Raiders.
Diego Arredondo's back in the game, Jimmy. He might have had an equipment issue, and that's why he had to head to the locker room.
Yeah, he deserved whatever break he took, let me tell you. One guy who just came off the field for the Presidents, number 17, Stephon Davis, holding his left wrist. That could be a factor.
And off to Valpondo, trying to get to the outside, and cannot, brought down there. Dan Saban over there for the tackle. Also, number 66 for the Presidents, Devin Gillen.
Yeah, Valpondo showing some good determination there and a little fire, which is what the Red Raiders need. But they've got to get the ball moving here. They just don't have time for this running game. They're down 2 scores. Clock just ticked under 5 minutes.
Ball's at the 43-yard line. No gain on that last run by Joe Valpondo. So we're bringing up now a 3rd down and 4 for the Red Raiders. 2 receivers, 1 to each side of Dennis Martin. Back to pass, looking to his left. Throws, and it is incomplete. Pass was intended for number 6, Zach Deegan.
Nobody.
I think it was to Watkins.
Yeah, I'm sorry, number 5, Watkins.
Yeah, the ball was out there. That's been an issue today. Martin has delivered the ball to receivers, but the ball has not been caught. The clock stops with 4:30 to go. Red Raiders have to go for this one. There's just no question they're in 4-down territory for the rest of the game. Ball is inside their 45. If they don't execute here, they've got a real problem, John, as the Presidents will take over with great field position and a 2-touchdown lead.
4th and 4 from their own 43-yard line. North Quincy has the ball. Martin back to pass. Rolling out to his left, still looking downfield, and it's going to get hit from behind and sacked. And it'll be a turnover on downs. Coming up for the big tackle, Gerard Shea.
And the ball is going to turn over to the Presidents with 4:20 to go and a 14-point lead. And Mr. Arredondo, who took a little refresher break there, I expect, as we said earlier, we're going to see him working hard here.
So Quincy High School will take over at the North Quincy 44-yard line with 4 minutes and 24 seconds left to go in the game. And again, up 21-7.
Coach Noble huddled up the boys, and I'm sure the message was no turnovers, no penalties, and we're going to be the winners here, boys. So go out and stay disciplined for this final 4:24. One guy in the backfield, Arredondo.
Quincy High School had 2 turnovers in the first half, none in the second half. Pitch to the left to Arredondo, cuts outside to the left, and falls forward up to the 40-yard line. Nice run by Arredondo, picks up another 4 yards.
R.J. Barden with his hands on the football. You can see that's what he's going after. Arredondo is lying on his back there with a little bit of a calf cramp. Arredondo coming out for a little break here. It looks like he cramped up, which is no surprise. He's got to be dehydrated, or at least not properly hydrated here with all the time he spent on the field. So Arredondo comes out for a little break, gets some water, and in for Arredondo, Max DeVoe. President's going to keep it simple, John, with a lone back.
2nd down and 6 for the Presidents. DeVoe in the backfield. Lewis is in the slot to the left. Peterson was looking over to Coach Noble when to run the play, runs as much time off the clock as possible. DeVoe runs to the left, crosses the 30, picks up the first down, stays on his feet, falling forward to the 25, where he's finally brought down. Great run by Max DeVoe.
First down, 2 for the Presidents. And a big first down, as that's going to give them 4 more plays, and we're coming up to 3 minutes. Presidents in the driver's seat, John, and it looks like they know what they have to do to drive this one home. Coach Noble is watching the field clock, and what he's doing is telling Peterson when to snap so they can run a maximum amount of time off the clock before they run a play. North Quincy getting a timeout here.
So North Quincy said calls timeout. That's their 3rd timeout they've called, so 2 more for the Raiders. Ball is spotted at the 24-yard line. Presidents come to the line. DeVoe still in the backfield. Diego Arredondo is still on the sidelines trying to work out that cramp with the trainer. Peterson sends Tim Lewis in motion to the left. Handoff to DeVoe over to the left. Breaks one tackle, breaks another tackle, and crosses to the 19-yard line. Another nice run by Max DeVoe to stay on his feet and fall forward.
Yeah, DeVoe's a very solid guy. You know, when you come in and succeed Diego Arredondo, he's like a bowling ball out there. But DeVoe is a kid who's a junior. He's 5'10", 200 pounds, and that's very, very solid for high school football. He's got the fresh legs going as well, John, and that's why he's successfully breaking tackles out there. So Max DeVoe stepping up big for the Presidents here in the absence of Arredondo and this final drive. We're under 3 minutes to go. Clock is stopped. That was a Red Raider timeout, was it, John?
Yes, Raiders call
they have
timeout.
1 left?
Yes, they 1 timeout left.
Okay.
All right, so Quincy over in the huddle. Coach Bob Noble called the play in the huddle, and the Presidents will come straight to the line. 2:58 left to go in the ball game. Quincy on top, 21-7. Arredondo back in the ball game. 3 receivers in the slot to the right of quarterback Lance Peterson. Handoff to Arredondo. Crosses over to 15 on his feet and will fall forward to the 10-yard line. Make it the 11, but a nice run by Arredondo to pick up the first down.
Yeah, they're moving the chains over on the sideline there. Big first down. And the clock is stopped while they move the chains, and then they'll start it up again. We're ticking down to 2 minutes here, and the Presidents knocking on the door again. They're just outside the 10, so they could pick up a first down without scoring. But I'm sure their big objective here is just to run this clock down.
What's going on, Mr. Page? How you doing, Mr. J?
Peterson hands up to Arredondo once again, over to the right, crosses the 5, trying to fall forward, goes in for the touchdown. Diego Arredondo, his 3rd touchdown of the game, and the Presidents take a huge lead.
Yeah, what an effort by Arredondo, let me tell you. He has been the story, and this is quite an individual performance on a Thanksgiving Day. I can't remember one guy dominating the game like Diego Arredondo has today, John. If you watch the replay here, you're going to see Arredondo just got it right up. This is an 11-yard run right up inside the tackle. He's taken on every white shirt he can find, and he bangs it in for a touchdown. So great effort by Diego Arredondo, is now kicking the point after. And it gets blocked.
And flags are thrown on the play, though. So we'll see what happens. As you said, kick was blocked, and it was no good. Officials down the field. And it looks like it might be against the Presidents. Not positive, though.
I think it's against the Red Raiders. I might have had someone jump on someone's back.
Illegal procedure, hurdling on the defense. We're going to repeat the point after.
All right, so you said the hurdle play there, so it'll be a small penalty, but the Presidents will get to take the kick over again. Second penalty for the Red Raiders on an extra point attempt here today when the Presidents have been trying to make the extra kick. And again, we're going to have another penalty.
Well, I think that irrespective of how close they get to the goal line, they'll be kicking the point after. There's no reason to go for 2, and perhaps the Red Raiders are aware of this.
Dead ball foul.
That was
Offside
Dave Thompson.
On the defense.
David trying to penetrate and get in there to block it. You like to see that type of determination, notwithstanding the fact that the Presidents are now up by 3 touchdowns. Dave Thompson still trying to make a play here. The final 2:20.
All right, good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and Arredondo puts it through this time for the extra point. So as the teams come back downfield, 28-7, the Presidents on top of the Red Raiders.
Yeah, and it's a dispirited group going to the far sideline in the white shirts. Coach Connor out there trying to greet them, trying to keep them fired up. Last guy off is Dave Thompson. You see him at the left of the screen, or you did see him, and Coach Connor's out there to walk him over. Red Raiders looking to try to regroup here on this kickoff and finish the game properly, at least, with some fire here by their special teams. They've got a lot of guys coming back next year. I see number 80 coming over here, who's going to be one of the guys they're going to look to next year. Tim Stilley, who's only a junior. He played defensive end, and he's a tight end. He's out there on special teams. There's a lot of other guys coming back for the Red Raiders, and I'm sure the message from the special teams coach for North Quincy is, let's do something here, guys, to finish this game with a little pride. It's 28-7 Presidents. They were firing on all cylinders today, John. It was just a great performance by Quincy High School, wasn't it?
Certainly was. Diego Arredondo, 126 rushing yards, and he also had that 28-yard pickoff return for the touchdown. Arredondo kicks it off, and it's going to be fielded by North Quincy. Ball is loose. They jump on it, though, and they're going to take over on their own 33-yard line.
Dennis Martin is coming out. I wasn't sure whether they'd have the first-team offense come out or maybe try to get some kids in the game, but Coach Connor bringing out the seniors, and let's see what they do. We're going to expect that they go to the air here with 2:16 to go. Try to make something happen in their final possession.
All right, so North comes to the line. Ball is actually at the 34-yard line, their own 34. Tregellis is wide left for quarterback Dennis Martin. Split backfield. Hand off to Valpondo. Running over to the right side. Breaks one tackle and finally gets brought down there by Dan Sabin at the North Quincy 41.
Valpondo with a nice run inside. Picks up about 6. And it's going to be a 2nd and 4 as the clock ticks down. It's about 12:15. The game's moved right along, John, because of the way the teams went at each other. There's a lot of running plays. Clock had been running most of the morning.
Second down in 4. Hand out to Valpondo once again. He's met right at the line of scrimmage there by Paul Oldham. Big hit there, only a gain of 1.
Down on the sideline here, the Presidents have a fully loaded water bucket they're trying to drop on their pacing coach, Coach Noble. He's completely unaware of it, but he's just marching around the sidelines, taking in the glory of the big win. They were just about to drop the bucket on him as he marched away, so.
Hand off to Valpondo again, and he is stopped again. Quincy defense is not giving up there, right in the middle of the action. Who else but Diego Arredondo? And as Coach Noble comes closer to the bucket, looks like he might get a little wet here, Jim.
Yeah, let's get a sideline shot of this. Actually, one of his coaches is delivering him right to the bucket area.
Camera can tilt down there, right there. Coach Noble right in the screen there. Maybe our sideline camera can try to get over there.
There
He
it
gets
is.
wet.
They got him. So the celebration starting on the Quincy sideline.
20 seconds left to go in the ball game. 4th down and 2 for the Raiders. Hand out to Valpondo. Cuts it outside. Picks up the first down. Crosses the 45 to the 50. And gets knocked out of bounds there on Quincy territory at the 47.
They got time for one play to the end zone here. I'd love to see the Red Raiders try it. Martin's certainly capable of it. There's 9 seconds left. Ball's on the 47, and the clock will start on the snap. This is probably the last play.
So 1st down and 10 for the Red Raiders. 8 seconds left to go. Valpondo with the run, and he gets hit by Oldham and Matt Oriole. And the game is over. The Quincy Presidents win their 9th straight victory, Jim. They take the game 28-7.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's quite something for the Presidents. A 2-7 season just became a winner with this victory today. And you got to say for the Red Raiders, they turned around this program this year. They were 6-4 coming in. They're going to go to the locker room with a 6-5, a winning season, and you give them great credit for that. It's tough to lose to Quincy, and tough to sustain a loss to the crosstown rival. But I'll tell you what, they've got to be pleased for their season and the fact that the program's heading in the right direction. Today was a very tough one for the Red Raiders, but it's the end of a successful season. And for the Presidents, it makes any of the indignities or losses of the season just go right out the window here as they played a solid game, all sides of the ball, and really delivered one to the Red Raiders today. Big victory for the Presidents, John, 28-7.
All right, we're going to stay right here, and I believe our engineer, Chris Paul, is going to try to get some audio for us down the field of the trophy presentation. However, we'll real quick go over the game recap. It was a fantastic game, as Jim and I mentioned. Quincy got on the board first in the second quarter. A 33-yard touchdown pass from Lance Peterson to Anthony Raditz found the end zone. PAT was no good. Quincy gets up 6-0. Later on in the second quarter, after a fumble on a punt, Dave Thompson recovered for the Red Raiders, and a 13-yard touchdown pass from Dennis Martin to Marcelo Slee. And after the extra point, it was 7-6 North Quincy, and that was our score as we headed into the half. In the in the third quarter, a Anthony Raditz interception off a Dennis Martin throw put the Quincy Presidents in business. And after a 28-yard pass from Peterson to Dan Saban, Diego Arredondo ran it in for a 1-yard touchdown run, his first of the day. He also got it the 2-point conversion. 14-7 was the score for the Presidents. North Quincy got the ball back, and another pick thrown by Dennis Martin. Diego Arredondo came up with this time and ran it back 28 yards for the touchdown, 21-7 after the point after. After a turnover on downs by the Red Raiders, Quincy came right back. They go 44 yards, capped off by 11-yard touchdown run by Diego Arredondo, his third touchdown of the day, and 28-7 is our final score, Jim. Final stats for Diego Arredondo: 126 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, and 1 INT return for a touchdown.
Yeah, in fairness to the Red Raiders, the loss of Cahill in the final game before Thanksgiving just proved to be too much of this Red Raider offense. They never were able to regroup. And part of that is because of the fact that Cahill was lost in the second half of the game just before Thanksgiving. They never had an opportunity to get out on the field and make some adjustments prior to this. Looks like we're going to go down on the...
Yeah, we're going to go down to the field now for the presentation of the City Trophy. Chris Potter's right down there getting ready. You can see Frank Santoro, the principal, also Superintendent DeCristofaro, and Jim Brendel, the athletic director, huddled around Coach Bob Noble. Congratulating right now Bill Reardon.
I had heard Chris utter the words, "I'm not ready yet," so we'll go down there as soon as he is. We'll watch his microphone. But the president's just a jubilant bunch. Here we go.
Diego, I don't want to come no. Diego, get up here.
What are we doing? Right on the ball. What are we doing?
Right on the ball.
Beating North Quincy.
Yeah! Red Dog, baby. Motion. Red Dog. The Red Dog.
Hey, gentlemen, the city is very proud of you. Nine in a row for the Quincy High presidents. Congratulations, Coach. And Quincy High, congratulations.
So the Superintendent Richard DeCristofaro handing the trophy off to the Quincy High School presidents. As he said, their 9th victory in a row, 13 of the last 14 victories. So Quincy High School has been dominating their crosstown rivals in the past few years.
All right, relax now, John. Okay, yeah.
Well, you know what? It is very exciting for us Quincy High School grads, Jim.
Yes, you're right. And as we said, what a way to take a 2-7 season and make it into a winner. They just looked really solid all game here. Played up to their potential. They got a lot of guys coming back, so things are looking bright for the presidents. Red Raiders are already in the locker room. I want to give Coach Connor great credit. We like the coach's style. He's a teacher. He's in the high school. He knows the players. And it didn't take him long to get the numbers up in the Red Raider program. There are a lot of boys on the sidelines, and I'm sure he's in there now encouraging them. It's a very, very deflating and tough loss for the Red Raiders, but they had a winning season. They finished 6-5. These seniors are the senior group that helped turn around the program, get it back on its winning ways, and they're going to deserve credit for that. That's something that after the tough loss wears off a bit, they're going to be able to remember that fact. So both sides have something to feel good about today as the 2007 football season comes to an end.
One of the big stats today, Jim, was the turnover factor. Quincy High School had 2 turnovers. North Quincy had 4. So that hurt North Quincy Red Raiders big in the turnover category. Real quick.
And the presidents, I'm sorry, John, presidents did a great job of capitalizing on the turnovers. One thing to have turnovers, because the presidents had a couple, but it's capitalizing on them, which the presidents did today.
The other thing was penalties. Quincy High School, 9 penalties for 75 yards. The Red Raiders had 5 penalties for 20 yards. The penalties hurt Quincy in the beginning of the game, but luckily they were overcome all the penalties in the second half.
Yeah, why don't we take a minute here, John, to thank our crew. They just did an absolutely terrific job, particularly the camera crew outside. The guys in the truck did regroup and had a great second half. They were like the presidents there in terms of regrouping and getting it together for a great second half. So let's talk about all our camera and our crew in the truck.
All right, down on the field was John Mercurio on camera, and helping him pull cable all long game was Anna El Torre. Great job down on the field. Also on camera we had Peter Doherty, Glenn Busher, and Grace Busher. Our aerial cam footage today was provided by Jim Tanzi. On graphics we had Michael Jarvie. On audio, Frank Tanzi. On replay, Bill Early.
Our engineer was Chris Potter, our director George Capadonna, and our executive producer Elizabeth Campbell. So a great season of high school football here in the city of Quincy, and we want to thank of our crew who came out here in the sun, in the heat, in the rain, and in the cold, and out here on Thanksgiving morning. Could be with their families, but want to help bring footage here to the city of Quincy at this great Thanksgiving tradition.
Yeah, I would like to thank them too. You mentioned the names, but they work very hard. They do a good job. Occasionally when John and I sound confused, it's because we're hearing instructions in our headphones. They do a good job of keeping us informed on things going on in the field and providing us with our cues at proper times. There's even a Snickers bar or two delivered to the booth. So we thank them. It was a good effort and the end of another great high school football season here in Quincy, John.
All right, Jim. Well, we want to thank all of our viewers. And again, if you're interested when this game's going to be replayed on Quincy Access TV, log on to the website at www.qatv.org. So the final here, once again, from Veterans Memorial Stadium, the Quincy High School Presidents 28, North Quincy Raiders 7, after the 75th annual Thanksgiving Day football game. For Jim Timmons, my name is Jonathan Caleri. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone, from all the crew here at QATV Sports.